Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey everybody, here we are. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Once again, Jay is avoiding Tyvis. What do you have to say about that, Tyvis?
You know, I'm starting to feel some type of way about it, to be honest with you. Because
I don't blame you.
I thought me and Jay had a really good relationship. You know, I looked up to him like a mentor. And he just don't want to be on the show with me anymore. I don't know what. I really don't know what that's about. Every time, like yesterday, when I got the rundown and I seen Jay on there, I did a backflip.
Yeah.
I said,
he texted me.
I said, oh my God, Jay?
Yeah.
Jay Crawford back on the show with Tyvis? Oh, it's about to be a banger. And I walk in.
He's gone.
Out of here.
And he's not here.
Yeah, Jay, I thought that we had something better than this.
Maybe
I thought our
week.
Friendship was pretty good, but
I need that PTO package. That package devastating.
G. Bush, I mean, he's becoming so famous now, it's hard to get his head through the door.
Oh, stop.
He's hobnobbing with Bill Simmons. He's going viral on YouTube. He's got 87 podcasts. And a lot of other things.
You make me feel good about the stuff that I'm doing because you got me beat. I'm trying to catch up.
Stop playing, man.
I'm trying to catch up.
Stop playing. Tyler's got like 97 jobs.
You do too.
I mean, I picked up 2 more because you had some. I was like, listen, I got to be able to buy shoes like you. So, anyways, we working back. But shout out to Bill Simmons. He had me on his podcast. He's a solid dude, man. He hit me up. Was like, man, I like some of the stuff you do, and he just like, let's link up. The crazy thing about it is, if you guys think that I'm like, I'll be playing y'all off to the left, he had hit me up on a DM on Twitter. Yeah. And it was there for like 2 days.
Oh, really?
2 days?
You blew off Bill Simmons for 2 days.
I was at a wedding. I didn't know.
So what made you check it? Like,
I try to check it periodically, like just to see. Like, but then it was there, and then I was like, okay, Bill Simmons, and then I'm like foggy a little about Bill Simmons. I thought that was like, is that Ben Simmons?
Oh, because he don't got the blue check.
Yeah.
Oh, he got the blue check.
Oh, well, wow.
And so I went back, and when I went back and I clicked on it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is Bill Simmons. Yeah, like 5.5 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It
used to be like, oh, if somebody sent you a message with a blue check or whatever, like, you're like, okay, that's legit. Yeah. Now, you never know.
They pay
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry pays their $8. Roger in Cuyahoga Falls, Lou in Cleveland, I don't even know. They got 8 followers. Pay it? I know I do. I only did that because I thought it would, because that's how I promote my podcast and do stuff like that.
Because you can put like a longer clip on.
Exactly. So, but I don't care about paying $8.
Guys, we got breaking news.
We
have breaking news to start the show.
We do.
Yeah, Steve, hit the stinger. This is legit breaking news.
Legit.
This was not planned. This has nothing to do with waiver wires, but the Browns just made a major announcement for the upcoming season. Steve,
it better not be the field.
Take the breaking news and take the tag.
It better not be the field.
It is officially
it's worth
official.
Interrupting.
It is officially official. The Elf is staying on the field at the 50-yard line for the upcoming season. It beat out the fan-submitted dog logo in the fan vote. The Elf back on the 50-yard line for the 2nd consecutive year.
Is there audio on this from this movie?
Yeah, but it curses, so we're not going to play it.
Okay. First of all, the video's embarrassing. The Browns PR social media team is subpar. And that's
wow.
And that's a failure having the Elf back. What say you guys?
I like the dog. I would have
dog.
put the dog back on there. That just shows you that the Elf magic is it's alive and well, boo. The Elf is alive and well.
I'm more of a dog mentality.
Look,
Dogs got to eat, right?
This is what it tells me, guys. You know what it tells me? Let's keep it real here. That's what we do on the show.
They not vote. They not listening.
There's not enough black people voting because black people don't vote for elves. Only white people vote for elves. No black guy ever voted for an elf.
Give me a break. That just goes to show you, black people constitute 13% of the population.
Well,
we just a little louder than everybody else, but it really ain't that many of us hanging out.
Well, that's because the black, we get on there and we talk about it.
Right.
Oh, the dog, but nobody actually clicks submit. hit the dog.
They'd be like, yeah, we saw Tyvus and G. Bush and Earl say the dog. Hell no. Elf?
Elf. Is anybody here like the Elf? Anybody want to make a case for the Elf?
I like the Elf.
I don't have a problem with the Elf.
But like it more than the dog.
No, like I wanted the dog.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like either. I'll be completely honest. I was not a fan of either. But Earl, you're the most diehard Browns fan back here. What do you think of the Elf versus the dog?
I have no problem with the Elf. I actually prefer the Elf on a gear. I actually voted for the dog, though, but I was cool with either one. What I really wanted was the number 32 on the field. But
I did, too.
They couldn't do that, so it is what it is.
What you mean they couldn't do that?
You know why they can't do that.
It broke NFL. I don't know the exact rule, G, but essentially the NFL is a rule where you can't put numbers and/or certain logos at midfield. It has to be honored in a different way.
Can we put it at the 35s?
Or at the 32?
I guess maybe. Yeah, at the 32 would make more sense. But it was unable. The Browns looked into it, and they were unable to use Jim Brown as a tribute at midfield.
All right. The NFL has some stupid rules.
They got some dumb. Remember they was like somebody was trying to wear like pink for the whole year. Because his mom
because his mom died. That was a running back.
And it was D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, that's who it was.
And it was just like, no. He was like, but you do it in October.
Yeah.
Can you do it? No.
You do it their way or no? And, it's funny. D'Angelo Williams.
You pay for it.
You think about that. There's been so many players that were like good players for a couple of years. In like the other sports, like baseball and basketball, if you're a good player, you can play 10, 12, even 15 years.
Yep.
In football, there's good NFL players who only play for 3-4 years sometimes. Or maybe they're only good for 3-4 years. Then they have 1 or 2 crappy years, and then they're gone.
I was just watching, like, on the NFL, like, they talk about players you forgot were really good.
Yeah.
You played Steven Jackson for the Rams.
Yeah. Oh, he was a beast
Steven
with
Jackson
the Rams.
for like 4 years.
And he went off a cliff. Look how Sean Alexander went off the cliff. Look how
Todd
Gurley. Todd Gurley's one of the best backs in the league a few years ago.
Larry Johnson.
David Johnson. Yeah, I was just saying, they was talking about David Johnson was going to be the best running back because, like, statistically wise, he had like one of the best running backs. Johnsons.
No, we're not supposed to say pause anymore. Apparently, we got a text about that. Too much pausing. Yeah. Chris Johnson also.
CJ 2K.
Yeah. And then he kind of did nothing after that.
Him and AP. Didn't him and AP both go for 2,000?
Almost, I think.
We just discussed this.
Because
they did. They both have 2,000-yard seasons. CJ 2K went for 2006. Adrian Peterson went for 2,097.
In the same year?
No.
Oh, I was about to say.
They talked about Michael Vick coming out of jail, and when he played for the Eagles, he had 2 years where he was just unstoppable. And then he kind of fell off after that. Like, he only had 2 years with the Eagles.
Right. You didn't know what he was going to be when he came back.
I forget that he played for the Jets and the Steelers.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. That's true.
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Oh,
crazy for him 2 years.
That guy?
And he fell all the way off.
Well, even
did y'all see how Asante Samuel broke down how he knew that Nnamdi wasn't going to be good? So he said that Nnamdi was only good for Oakland because they had one of the worst run defenses. So teams would only throw the ball only a couple of times a game.
Okay.
And they just run the ball. So every time you see Nnamdi make a play, he knew it was only 2 or 3 times a game they would come at him and he would make the play. So when he came to the Eagles, everybody was talking about how, they got this great secondary. Right. And Asante sitting there like, I'm telling y'all, he ain't that good. and
he was right.
And LaShawn McCoy say that they did one-on-ones the first day. And he said he wanted to check it out because he heard so much about how good Nnamdi is. And they said it was Brent Selleck, I think that's who the tight end was. Said he broke him off.
He married Kerry Washington?
Yeah, he did. I think is he still married?
No.
I mean,
he's an actor now.
You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he gets all the credit in the world.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're still married. Kerry Washington.
Yeah, of course she is.
While you're looking up
They've been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me get a fast read in here real quick, and we'll dive in. I really want to get this game in before the waiver wire starts. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We got a lot to get to today. We got what's the name of the game again?
It's real or fake player.
Okay, Mike's gonna mention a list of players. We got to say whether they're real players that were cut yesterday or they're made up names.
Earl went 3 of 16. Just to let you guys know.
3 of 16.
3 of 16.
It's tough. There's like 500 guys that got cut, and if they're unless they're on the Browns or in my case maybe the Bengals. Probably not going to. You could even there might even be a guy in the Bengals or 2 that got cut that I might not know.
There's some good names, I'll tell you that.
But so we'll get to that. Obviously, we talk about the cuts that we didn't get into, the biggest one being Hurst, which we'll get into in a second. We'll see what happens. You know, the waiver at noon, we're going to find out who got claimed. And there's going to be a lot of players probably getting claimed today. The Browns have the 12th spot in waivers. So if they're interested in some guys, we shall see. Will they get a running back? You know, will they replace Harrison Bryant as the third tight end? We'll see.
And will we know who? How quickly will we know who gets put on the practice squad?
We will start. I mean, that will trickle in starting just afternoon.
Okay.
So we might know at least part of that list.
Pack show
before the end of the show. Yeah. So that's all coming up. We are going to talk to Gene Smith.
Okay.
It is last year as athletic director at Ohio State. He's going to join us at 12:30. It's all coming up. Mike, what do we got?
Yeah, let's get into it real quick. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody that if you need Browns gear for the upcoming season, the place to get your Browns gear is fanatics.com/UCSS. All the best gear on the market in the Browns colors. And if you use the code fanatics.com/UCSS, we get a little kickback on the back end. So if you need Browns gear, make sure you're buying it at fanatics.com/UCSS. And with that, Bull, let's get into what we have to talk to about today. The 53-man initial roster has been set, and Mo Hurst is the guy I want to start with. The Browns decided to keep Jordan Elliott over Mo Hurst. I think there's a pretty obvious reason why, if you guys want to dive into that. If not, I could do a little explainer, but are you guys surprised that Mo Hurst was not on the initial 53-man roster?
Guys, I was very surprised by this. We talked about how excellent a player he was in San Francisco his first 2 years. You played with him, right, Tyvus?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you missed it? What did you miss him by a year?
Probably.
Yeah. He was really good, but the last 2 years he's had a ton of injury problems, so he hasn't been able to stay on the field. He had a great camp. He had a great preseason. It seemed like he was doing all the right things. It seems that they cut him. I don't know if the Browns have admitted this, but it seems like they've cut him maybe just to save a little money. And they want to bring him on the practice squad because he was going to get paid. You know, he's making about $1.5 million more.
Wait, can I explain that real quick?
Go ahead.
So Jordan Elliott was guaranteed $1.5 million, regardless of whether or not he made the roster.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was a guaranteed money
I
bonus.
that.
Mo Hurst was not guaranteed any money, so they kept Elliott to avoid paying a dead cap hit, with the hopes of now being able to bring Mo Hurst back.
Now, you don't know that for sure. You're
well, that's the speculation.
Okay, now if that's true, if they kept Elliott over Hurst about $1.5 million, then what are we doing here, G?
That's stupid.
Well,
now we don't know that that's the reason for sure, but if it is, that's ridiculous.
How many years has Mo Hurst been in the league? 4?
Will be his 5th year.
He is a free agent. He does not go to waivers.
Okay,
that does make a difference.
So that means he's vested.
Right.
So that means that if he makes so a lot of the times, if you're a vested veteran, they will cut you before the week 1 roster comes out because if they keep you and you make the final 53 and that ball gets kicked off, your money's guaranteed.
Right, but how much is he making anyway?
I don't know.
I mean, he's not making that much.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you.
The point is,
if he's somebody that can clear and come back.
They have more cap space than any team in the league. Any team in the league. To be dickering around with the roster over $1 million, $2 million.
You know what? Really you know what league this is? You know about the NFL?
I do.
Okay, so what are you talking about? If they can avoid paying you guaranteed money, they're gonna do it at all costs.
So what if Hurst now go sign somewhere else?
That's the risk that they're willing to take.
So I think this is a little more devious than that. I've always said it. Listen, Kevin Stefanski is getting graded on wins and losses, right? That's what he's going to be graded on. Andrew Berry is going to be graded on his draft. The draft is a higher priority than free agency and trades. We understand that you're doing a good job of free agency and trades, but once the Cade York domino fell, that meant that was a big domino. 4th round pick, you missed on the kicker. First of all, some people don't even take kickers. You missed on that pick, and then we had to pay a 7th round pick to replace the kicker.
Yeah.
So people look at it like, oh, wow, you done messed it up twice. You done messed that up. You got rid of Anthony Schwartz, which was a pick.
Yeah.
You had Perion Winfrey. Winfrey was a wasted pick.
David Bell's looking like a wasted pick.
David Bell is looking like a wasted pick. Anthony Schwartz, I'm just saying. Yeah. And then now you get down to Jordan Elliott, who was another guy that you took in the 3rd round that looks like he can't play. So if you drop him.
Hasn't he started every year?
Yes.
No, I'm saying like for this preseason, it's been him and Dalvin every time, right?
I think so.
Dalvin has not started all 4 preseason games. But
he started all.
Well, you know what? The Washington game, it was Jordan Elliott and Dalvin, and then the Chiefs game was Dalvin.
He's not any good though.
They started him in the Hall of Fame.
Part of that, Tyvus, is because Tomlinson wasn't playing. Hurst, they were working in slowly.
Hurst had
played well. And what's his name?
Shelby Harris wasn't
Shelby
there
Harris.
yet.
They just signed.
Oh, that's
recently.
who started. Yeah.
So
for me,
and he hasn't done anything. He's been here a few years. He hasn't done.
You talking about Jordan Elliott?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that Mo Hurst made more plays in the preseason than Elliott did for sure. I mean, I can actually think of plays that I seen Mo Hurst actually make. Yeah. And on top of that, I think it was a few times that they even put him out at defensive end a couple of times, and he was still being effective there. So it's interesting that they got a weird of a guy with versatility, but like I said, you gotta. I don't know. The Browns seem to me this year to me they seem like they've been on a no BS kind of thing.
Right. They have.
They have been making the moves that they need to make, and there's no ties to it. Like if it's are you gonna help us win the Super Bowl? If not, then you gotta go. And that's
right.
And I have respected that. It's a cutthroat business. The Browns have been for the past couple of years been very buddy and sweet on the stuff, like trying to keep these guys and hoping like they come along. And this year, knowing that stuff is at stake, jobs is at stake, potentially a team could just disintegrate after a season if they don't make the playoffs. I think they understand what's at stake, and they become very cutthroat. But the Mo Hurst thing is kind of shocking to me because I do believe that he is more impactful than Jordan Elliott has been.
Now maybe because, and I agree with you, Tyvis, they have done that. Maybe the Browns deserve benefit of the doubt that they actually think Elliott is better than Hurst. Maybe.
It could be.
We don't see it doesn't mean it's not true. I find that hard to believe. I think we all find that hard to believe. But maybe the Browns deserve at least a little bit of benefit of the doubt because they have seemed to done everything to be going all in this season.
Or they have no choice. They have no choice but to go all in this season.
Doesn't that make you though? And we talked about this on Behind the Glass last night. I'm under the impression, and I'm fairly certain this is a money decision. They didn't want to pay any dead money to Jordan Elliott on top of what they had to pay Mo Hurst. And I believe that there was some sort of hope that they could bring him back in free agency. He doesn't go to waivers. He has the accrued seasons already. I just don't understand in a season that we've talked about, no excuses, G. Bush, the pressure's on, Tyvis, everyone's job's at stake. Why $1.5 million when you have the most cap space in the entire NFL is the difference of keeping a guy you can perform against starting caliber defensive tackle or against offensive linemen in the defensive tackle position, as opposed to a guy like Elliott who's had plenty of chances and just hasn't performed.
Well, McNuggets, maybe, you never know. Maybe it's some behind doors conversation, where they explain to him, hey, we want to bring you back. And maybe he likes the organization because he's seen he's had some success here. So maybe before they cut him, they had a conversation like, hey, if we cut you, will you be willing to come back? Because since you're a free agent, will you be willing to come back?
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
That's true.
But if some team comes up to him and says, hey, we'll give you $5 million.
He better take the $5 million. But at the same time, will that team also, will he be successful? Because obviously he's shown under Jim Schwartz's defense, he can make plays. So, at the end of the day, would you take the $5 million for 1 year, or would you take the couple million for maybe?
If I'm him and I've made very little money and I've been injured, I'm taking $5 million. I want that. I'm set for life with that $5 million.
Go with the money then.
If
that's the case, he's in a win-win situation then.
That's true.
Because if he would have made the roster, he wouldn't have an opportunity to make the $5 million. So,
it is better for him that he got cut. Well, not really, because if he's on the practice squad, he's not going to make as much money.
Not at all, unless they're giving him a game check, which I doubt that's happening.
You guys are missing the point. You're missing. You say, why would you do this move? It's easy. This is a hedge move. This is chess, not checkers. At the end of the day, when they call Andrew Berry in there to stand account for his job, they're going to say, okay, let's look at 2021. Demetric Felton, cut.
Fail.
Okay, keep going down the list.
I'm mad about that.
Richard LeCount, cut.
Fail.
He just got picked up.
You got Tony Fields. He made the team. He's a special teams guy.
He's a
special teams guy.
No, LeCount got cut again, Tyvis.
He got cut again?
Yeah, the Rams cut LeCount yesterday.
Fourth round pick.
Tony Fields as a fifth round pick. That's fine.
That's fine.
He's a special teams guy.
Tommy Togiai, fourth round pick, fail.
Dang, go Bucks.
James Hudson. He is a fourth round pick. He's a depth piece.
I mean, he's fine for a fourth round pick, I guess, at this point.
Anthony Schwartz, number 1. By the way, they took him number 91 overall.
Oh.
Failed.
Who went 91?
Anthony Schwartz went 91.
Didn't they take him over Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yes, they did.
Hurts.
They got JOK in the second round.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is, by the way, under the radar, top 10 receiver in the NFL.
It's not under the radar. Everybody knows.
Does everybody?
Everybody.
Average fans?
He's going first round in a lot of fantasy
drafts. Go ahead. And then who else that draft?
JOK. JOK.
So far, he's been a bust.
No. I think he's poised to have a good year.
All right, but to this point,
I think they finally put him in a position and they're going to utilize him correctly. To this point, no, not at all.
Greg Newsome.
Good, solid pick.
The jury is still out on that.
But he's 26.
That draft overall looks like a pretty bad draft.
Now that next draft, oh Lord, the next draft, 2022, this is getting ugly.
Yeah.
Now Martin Emerson saved the whole thing.
Yeah, Martin Emerson, great. Well, yeah. Didn't he draft DPJ?
No, that was 2 years ago.
That was
that was before that one.
Oh, that was not his draft?
Nope.
DPJ's contract is this year, so that was 4 years ago.
I thought he drafted DPJ.
I don't think
this is DPJ's fourth season, so he would have been the
2019
draft. Because he played 2020, 2021, 2022. This is his fourth season.
No, if he was drafted in his first season.
Oh, so 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Then he was the 2020 draft. They did. Barry and Stefanski did the 2020 draft.
Did they?
Yes.
Did they?
That was his first. That was his first.
Well,
draft.
let's go back.
Because that was the COVID year, and they were here for the COVID.
Browns
year.
20.
Well, you can't listen. They cutting their draft picks now, so.
Well, let's go to 2020.
Let's go to 2020.
I'll wrap this.
Why are we looking at 2020? Yeah. Let's get to that.
So 2021 looks really bad. Overall, bad draft. That's a D draft, maybe C.
Oh, here we go.
2020.
Here we go. So they got DPJ was in there.
Okay, it's a very excellent pick for the round you got him at.
So DPJ, and you got Grant Delpit.
That's a solid pick.
The jury is still out on that one. I'm not ready to go all in on that.
Okay, not all in.
Harrison Bryant.
That's a
fourth round. Fourth.
I mean, for a fourth round tight end,
you should be able to get a serviceable player there. I think that's a fail at this point.
Oh, Lord, Jedrick Wills, top 10. We forgot about him.
Yeah, that's a bad pick. Right now, that looks like a bad pick.
Jordan Elliott, number 88 overall.
Fail.
Nick Harris. They drafted.
He's still in.
What round?
Speaking of which, shout out to Luke Whippler. He made it.
He did.
Go Bucks.
Fifth round pick for Nick Harris at this point.
Jacob Phillips, third round.
Bad
Bust.
pick.
So you busted on Jedrick Wills, Jordan Elliott, Jacob Phillips. Harrison Bryant is okay.
I think that draft is like at best a C.
At best.
At best. The 21 draft is at best a C minus.
You know what I think? I think the Browns work best when they pick in the third round.
Well, the third round picks have sucked.
No, when they start. I'm talking about as of because this year.
We'll see.
I'm cool. I can see the potential.
All right. What about the 22 draft here, G?
22 draft. Yeah. Let's get them out of here.
We're a little off topic. We'll get back to it.
No, we're good. This is fine.
So 22. Who is this? Martin Emerson.
Great pick.
Take round 3, pick 68.
That's his best pick.
Alex Wright, round 3.
We don't know.
We don't know. He's hurt.
And he's hurt.
Season. David Bell, number 99.
Looks really bad.
And I got to go 99 because that how many he got picked a bunch of a lot of guys.
Top 100.
Perrion Winfrey, round 4.
Disaster.
Dang.
Cade York, round 4.
Disaster.
Jerome Ford, have not seen him.
Jury is still out. Yeah.
Michael Woods, injured.
Still don't know.
Isaiah Thomas, cut.
Gone.
Deason Dalton, cut.
I mean, who that is.
Dawson Deaton.
Now, so let's face it. Andrew Berry overall has done an awful job drafting. Obviously, we can't judge this year's crop yet.
It's a crapshoot.
But
man.
he made a great pick with Emerson. Fantastic pick there.
Yeah.
Guy should have been a first-round pick probably.
Yep.
Great pick DPJ. Shouldn't have been a first-round pick, but he should have been like a third-round pick.
Right.
And they got him.
Who'd he go, 6?
Yeah.
6.
Outside of that, what's his third best draft pick?
I'm trying to find an impact guy.
Earl. Where's Earl?
I'm hoping Cedric Tillman. What do you mean? What's his best? His best draft pick is Deshaun Watson and Elijah Moore.
That's a trade. That's a trade.
Give me a second. I'm looking this up.
Earl is the biggest Andrew Berry defender.
Anyways, we
graded him a B.
Did he?
He's made 2 good draft picks.
Well, listen.
No, he hasn't.
20.
No, he hasn't.
Well, dang.
What's the third best draft pick he's made outside of DPJ and
Emerson. Well, Newsome's been a solid player.
Greg Newsome has been solid.
So your third best pick is a guy you drafted. They drafted him in the first round, Newsome, right?
26 overall.
Correct.
26th overall, and he's solid.
Yeah, but boy,
That's
you act
your
like
third best pick.
How many? Okay, go back to that draft and you tell me how many picks out of that first round is great.
In what year?
What?
Newsom's year. What year?
That's 220.
Give me the first round and you give me 10 studs. 10 guys that you like, oh, yeah, this guy is the guy. Because every year it's a crapshoot every year.
I got it right here. You ready?
Go ahead.
21, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got it right here. So the draft order top 10. This is a loaded draft, Tyvus.
Well, it's not fair, Tyvus. To be fair to Tyvus, it's not.
No, he's not top 10. I get that.
Guys in the top.
I'm just saying this draft was. It's a bad draft to say find me 10 studs because this is what makes the next trade look so
I
bad.
want to see it now. Show your homework.
Let's hear it.
All right, so Trevor Lawrence went 1.
Okay, that's good.
Next 2 picks, terrible. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance.
Okay.
Awful.
Okay, you ready for the run of these next guys?
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
Nah,
he's good.
We don't know.
He's good. We know he's good.
I'm not ready to go there.
He's good.
Well, I'm not saying he's a stud, but we know he's good. He's played with shit quarterbacks.
Over who?
Would you take him?
Over
I
who?
gotta calm down with the cursing.
Well, listen. But he's not. He's potentially a very good player. Just hear me out. The
good.
rest.
Come on, he's put up pretty good numbers considering he's played with nobody.
Okay.
All right.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, stop playing.
Superstar.
Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Superstar.
Panay Sewell.
Superstar.
J.C. Horn.
Yep.
Don't know
Really
yet.
good.
Don't
But
know.
he's been hurt.
He's been hurt every year. We don't know. I would think
Pat
he is.
Surtain.
Oh, he a beast.
Yeah.
Great player.
Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Great player.
Justin Fields.
To be determined.
Micah Parsons.
Great
stud.
player.
Rashawn Slater.
I'm not sure.
He was really good as a rookie. He
Is
got
that
hurt
the
last year.
Chargers guy?
He's an
Yeah.
offensive lineman, right?
Elijah Vera Tucker, who's the best offensive lineman on the Jets.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really good.
Then you got a couple bums here. You got Mac Jones.
All right, let's go to he was drafted 26, Newsom. Give us 20 to 32.
Kadarius Toney at 20.
Nothing.
Kwity Paye.
Don't know.
Don't know who that is.
Is he the Ravens?
Yeah.
No, he was the Colts.
Colts.
Oh.
Oh, he was injured.
Pass rusher, though.
I don't know that he's done it.
It's because he went to the
I'm not
team
sure.
up north, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, Caleb Farley, defensive back out of Virginia Tech.
He hasn't done anything,
Nah,
right?
and
Christian Darrisaw, who's been a good left tackle for the Vikings. Najee Harris.
It's okay.
Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Greg
Pretty
Newsome.
good.
And then the rest of the first-round picks after Newsome, a bunch of guys who haven't done anything.
All right,
All right, so like,
the only good player, the best player is probably Etienne, and he's a running back. Probably we're going to draft a running back.
Yeah.
Earl's got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at all 3 drafts, not including the 2023 draft.
Yeah.
And I can admit, I mean, it's been
hard.
average at best. But this is my question. This is my question.
Oh my God.
This is my question. This is my question.
Yeah.
Is being able to draft well the only component to making you a good general manager?
Of course not, but that's what we're talking about right now.
But you kind of like making it seem like I jumped out the gym giving him a B grade when I'm analyzing his overall
there's no way you can give a guy a
as a
B.
general
What
manager.
did you give him?
I gave him a C minus.
What did you give him?
I gave him a C+ to a B-.
Okay, that ain't outrageous,
A
dude.
B is outrageous.
That's not outrageous.
They have a losing record since he's been here. You can't have a B when you have a losing record. It's flat out.
So if that's the case, then, then without Tom Brady, then Bill Belichick is a terrible coach.
Now here's the way it
I
could work.
didn't say Andrew Berry was a terrible GM. I said he wasn't a B.
His trades.
So then without Tom Brady, then Bill Belichick is just a C-D coach.
He has been just average without him.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to put it on record. I just wanted to put that on record. That's all.
Now here, if his trades is crazy. Because
he's made some good trades. Absolutely.
He got Amari Cooper for free, Zadarius Smith for free.
Didn't he just get that pick back?
He got the pick. He wheeled and dealed and got a pick with
who did we just trade?
They traded
Dobbs,
got some picks.
Well, I mean, he's got a 5th round pick.
That's what they did. Ain't that what they did for Zadarius Smith?
Yeah.
Traded the 5th, so they got it back.
And then his free agency game is tough. They traded for Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah, he one of the best in the business on the trades.
He's made some good trades.
Ethan Poach,
no doubt about it.
Killed that.
But you can't the drafting through the first 3 years is a C- to a D.
I say yes.
I mean, if your 3rd best pick is Greg Newsome, who's a player and a 1st round pick.
He's solid.
But he has Park Place on the board.
But
if Watson becomes Watson on that trade, is crazy.
This ain't fair because y'all don't realize how difficult it is to draft. Like I
do.
Like,
who doesn't know it's difficult
because
to
y'all making it seem like y'all look at these players, y'all be like, oh, that guy's 1,000% going to be great. Like, that's not the case. It's a crapshoot every time.
Of course it is. But their job as a GM is to get it right more often than not. Nobody gets it right all the time.
We're getting a little bit off track here with the GM stuff. Can we rein it into the guys who are...
Okay, yeah. So back to the 53-man roster. First of all, there's no such thing as a final 53. The final 53 happens on week 17. That's a lie. After the week of your last game, that's the final 53 because it's always changing. It's a lot of guys that made this 53-man roster who potentially still might get waived because somebody picks up in waivers and they need that spot. I have not been a part of that, but I have been a part of making the first initial 53 as a rookie, kind of like the Ronnie Hickman story where you just made plays at safety and you make it as as the initial 53. It's a great experience, man, not having your phone go off. I actually had a buddy of mine named Greg Mabin who plays for the Carolina Panthers, and he was the last cut. He sent me a text message at 3:36 yesterday, and he was like, I just knew that I was going to make it. They got him at the last cut. It's the worst feeling in the world. My boy Greg Mabin, he played corner for the Panthers. He texted me at 3:36. He was like, I thought I was going to make it.
So when you in camp, when you in camp doing tour-days and stuff and you make the squad, like, do they give you a check or something? Like, where's you getting this money from?
You in camp?
Yeah.
You get $1,000 a week in training camp.
So, okay, so now it's over. Does that mean you get more than $1,000? Because it ain't.
What do you mean? The game checks come.
So
if you don't make the roster.
Oh, if you don't make the roster, you get nothing.
What do the practice squad guys get?
They get like
negotiated.
It's 12 to 16K a week, depending on your.
They went up if that's the case because it was like 4 to 5.
That's what I read last night.
I think it was like 4 to 5.
I think the last CBA it went up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't, that's so crazy. So
it doubled like that.
$1,000 a week. That is pretty chintzy.
It might have went up. This is back. This is the old CBA.
But you sending that back to the crib though. That you ain't even really seeing that. Like if you got kids and like that's going back, but you take your room and board, right? Like okay,
pretty much. Yeah. Get this off your chin.
Okay, good.
I've seen the first two waiver claims have been announced.
For who? The Browns?
No, for the Bears.
The Bears who have the first pick, and they could claim 40 guys if they wanted today.
I don't think it worked like that, dude.
Defensive end Khalid Kareem from the Colts, and defensive back Quindell Johnson from the Rams.
Trent Taylor also signed with the Bears.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's not a waiver claim. He's a veteran. He's the guy I mentioned for the Browns yesterday. Trent Taylor.
So let me get this right.
They making I gotta ask my boy Mabe about that. Y'all get 12,000 on P Squad?
In the context of the 53-man roster with the Bears. So
there's no way that's true, by the way.
They just signed a veteran, and they signed 2 more guys from somebody else's team.
Right.
So that means they go to 3 people on the squad that was supposedly made it. It was like, you go.
Already the Bears have had to cut 3 players.
Again.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's cool.
It's terrible. You sit there and you celebrate like, yes, I made it. And then the next day.
Yeah. If you're one of the last guys, you got to wait.
Yeah.
Like if you're the last player at a position,
I'm telling you.
It's very tenuous.
Wow. I don't even know why they celebrating the 53 then. Because they just signed 6 dudes or something stupid.
So the Bears
we're going to get to that in a second on who the Browns can look into, but let's put a bow on the 53-man roster the Browns had. 7 linebackers they're keeping, 5 safeties, 3 running backs, 6 receivers, 9 offensive linemen, 11 defensive linemen.
And do you
guys? What do you guys feel overall? G, how do you feel?
I still don't. I don't know how I feel about the David Bell. The Hurst thing came out of left field. I can see why he did it because he drafted him. Okay, whatever. At that end, hopefully you don't need Jordan Elliott to make you any plays, and hopefully they think that they got more depth in Shelby Harris and some of those other guys. Now the David Bell situation with Austin Watkins is a very tenuous one. Like it's like to me, Watkins proved what he could do. He proved he can get open. He proved he can catch the football from multiple different quarterbacks. I think he showed me something. And once again, it comes down to David Bell being a 3rd-round draft pick. You can't tell me that does not factor in the back of your mind that you already cut Schwartz. You already had to get rid of Kate York. There's no way in heck that you're going to cut this guy. Because if you're a 3rd-round pick, doesn't he still have some guaranteed money this year? Or does that have a cap hit with that?
I don't know that answer. I would imagine he still
So for me, like if you trying to build financially, and you cutting guys who have cap hits, that's frowned upon. So he was like, okay, well I'm gonna just keep Bell and move on from Watkins if it's even close. That's why if you're a rookie, if you're an undrafted dude, you gotta kill.
No doubt.
And to be honest with you, Watkins had an opportunity in the last game. He didn't do much.
Right, that's true.
We didn't hear his name.
That's true.
If he would have came back and got another 112 with another touchdown, we would have had to think about it. But we didn't see much.
Two things, besides Hurst, the two things that stood out to me from yesterday was keeping 7 linebackers, which none of us expected.
At all.
We were talking 5. I know the Bengals kept 5. A lot of teams keep
7
5.
is absurd.
Now, my guess is that at least that Kanasic, or however you pronounce his name, is going on IR.
Oh, yeah, he's out for the year.
But no, he's not out for the year. Because if he was out for the year, they would have put him on IR already.
Yeah, MCL.
He's out 4 to 6.
Oh,
4
4
to
to
6.
So if you want a guy to come back this year, you've got to put him on the 53, and then once waivers is over, then you can put him on IR, and then he can come back. Whereas, like, what's his name, the return guy? I keep forgetting. Jakeem Grant, they put him on IR already, so he's out for the year. And the second thing that I thought was interesting is the fact that they only kept 3 running backs. Now, you know, the Browns have kept 4 a lot. They may only go with 3, but I just don't feel great about, we talked about this a little yesterday, about what they have behind Nick Chubb. And
did Dearness Johnson make the Jaguars?
I
don't know. Can you look that up, Mike?
Yeah, I'm on it.
I don't
think he did.
You don't think he did?
I don't.
Because I know I seen Trey Sermon got released, and I know that was the guy that was.
Man, that guy was a high draft pick.
He was like a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, he's never really
Go
played.
Bucks. Go Bucks.
He's done nothing.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
Yeah,
like you know, I think what they're gonna do, Bull, is I think if Nick Chubb goes down, they're just gonna go right to the.
Dearness Johnson did make it. I apologize.
Oh, he did.
Dearness Johnson did make the Jaguars.
Okay. Now here's my problem.
They kept 4 backs, by the way.
If Nick Chubb goes down, I think Stefanski is just going to go up top. He's just going to throw the ball.
But, I mean, you got to run the ball a little bit.
I know. Like,
I mean, it's different ways to run the ball nowadays. Like, you don't have to just hand it off to the running back. Although Nick Chubb is very effective in that way. But you got the Jets pass where you can just toss it to him like that. You got hand off to running backs in the backfield. You got screens out there, which you got the perfect guy in Elijah Moore to do that, which is why he's very important to this year's offense. Again,
second most
I'm just saying he is very, very important
By the way,
to this Cleveland Browns offense this year. That's all I'm going to
what'd
say.
You think of the Pierre Strong addition?
I think they got a good guy that can come in and he has some special teams value. Okay. You know, I think that was the number one thing you want out of your running back 3, because that was the thing that Dearness Johnson struggled with when he was here. It was a couple of weeks where he wasn't even dressing for games because he didn't do anything special teams wise. With this kid right here, he's effective running the ball, but when Jerome Ford is healthy and Nick Chubb is healthy, you can still have him dressed for games because he's good on kickoff return, making plays, and he's good on kickoff, believe it or not, and he's making plays there. So I think that's what makes him an asset, and that's why he's going to dress all for every 17 games of the season.
I think the biggest move that we ain't talked about, and I think it changed a lot of things on this roster, is the fact that we have Marquise Goodwin out. And he is practicing and is back on this roster. That is a huge,
thank you, God,
huge deal. People may think that it ain't a big deal. Oh no, it's a huge deal.
And honestly, that's why it's part of the reason I don't really care about Watkins or Bell.
Right.
Those guys are not. They
wasn't really in the mix anyway.
On game day, unless they were
Andrew Berry was
one of them was going. They was going to be inactive for sure.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We got Watkins.
Yeah, when I seen the Marquise Goodwin thing, obviously y'all know me and him is really cool, and you know, I think he got a different mindset. Obviously, you talk to him, you see how he's just grateful to be out there and playing. But when you got the game like this close to like potentially leaving you, and you get another opportunity, I think you play totally different, because it's like this potentially could be it. Like who knows if I'm gonna have another year or not. So I think he's very dangerous this year. He's locked in, and he brings something to that offense that no other player does, and that's stretching that field and actually having the ability to make the play when you throw it to him.
Catching the football on top of that.
So guys is gonna be out there in that secondary, and they're gonna see Marquise and be like, "Oh my goodness!"
And he's not a guy that's gonna. Final thought on this, Mike. He's not a guy that's gonna ever have a game where he has 7 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
No, but he might
he'll
get
make 1 or 2 plays.
Yeah.
He might get 2 catches
And
for
90
I'm about to say.
and he'll make some big plays. Go ahead, Mikey.
Before I read you guys the PCC answer of the day, yes or no from each of you, will Mo Hurst and Michael Dunn both be back on the Browns roster?
No. They're too good. Somebody going to pick them up.
I'm going to say no on both.
Wait, were they both free agents or were they waived?
Both cut free agents.
No, they're both free
and
agents.
The report is they both have deals with the Browns to come back, if you believe that.
They coming back.
We asked the internet that question, and before I tell you the answer, I have to tell you who brings us the answer when we ask the internet the question, and that is PCC Air Force. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Air Force is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Air Force at Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We asked the YouTube community tab, are you confident that both Michael Dunn and Mo Hurst will return to the Browns? Out of 600 votes, 70% say yes. Andrew Berry knows what he's doing. Both of those guys will be back. Moving on to our next topic here, though, Bull, and I want to do this in 10 minutes, so guys, let's make this quick. Elsewhere on the league, teams cut down from 76 to 53.
Right.
I'll show you the list of 12 guys I thought at least piqued my interest as potential. You guys want to tell me if any of these guys pique your interest as someone the Browns might be interested on the waiver wire before it becomes official in about 20 minutes?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so here's the first 6. The Patriots cut both their backup quarterbacks. Bailey Zappi, who threw for 300 yards against the Browns last year. Malik Cunningham, who's the dual threat guy out of Louisville, who was playing some receiver, quarterback.
I'm cool on both.
Melvin Gordon, running back from Baltimore.
He got a fumbling problem. I'm cool.
He's shot. I think Melvin Gordon shot. I mentioned Kenyon Drake the other day. I don't know what you think.
I take that.
The guy on that list, Bradley Roby.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Denzel was going to miss time because of this concussion. I doubt the Browns will go down that road, though, because somebody's going to pay him money, right? I know he got cut. Is somebody going to play? Is Bradley Roby gone off the cliff?
No, go Bucks.
Why the hell did they cut him?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea. maybe he has went off the cliff.
Like
and maybe they got a younger guy that's been more productive. Yeah. You always go with the younger guy that's cheaper, but the Browns could use him, especially if Denzel's going to be out.
Yeah.
Go Buck. There's nothing like Buckeye DVs.
I'd be lying to say I watched a lot of Bradley Roby last year, so I'm just going off the PFF grade.
Yeah.
Not good last year.
Not good PFF
grade. 45.4. Who goes off of the PFF, okay?
I didn't watch him, so I'm just going off what I didn't watch a ton of Bradley Roby.
I actually don't know. I actually haven't seen Roby play in the past couple of years. So
what do you guys think about Trey Sermon, though? He's a guy that I think actually
done nothing.
No.
When he played, he'd been productive.
To be honest with you, he
had a couple good games in San Francisco as the lead back before he got hurt.
This is what I will say. He could come here and he could be pretty good. My problem is if he's a third string running back, he doesn't really have special tems value.
And
that's what you need, and that's what makes the Pierre, what's his name? Pierre Armstrong?
Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong. That's what makes him more valuable than a Trey Sermon. Now, if we was talking about a number 2 running back that could come in and be the number 2 running back for the entire season, I would tell you to go get Trey Sermon because behind this offensive line, if they play well, we've seen what it's done for Dearness Johnson and all these other running backs that's been behind them, that he could be very effective in that aspect. But you're talking about a guy that's going to be the third string running back when everybody's healthy. It's not going to have no special teams value. So he's never going to dress. He's going to be sitting there on the sideline in sweatsuits if you need him. So it's no point.
I mean, you drafted the guy in the 3rd round and they didn't use him at all. And the Niners use every back. So that makes me skeptical.
No, he played and then he got hurt.
He had 43 carries.
I think he only played 2 games, though. The 2 games he played, he was good. But like I said, it's a long shot. Size. It's a long shot. Right. I'll look up an exact one. The next 6 before you take it.
The Bailey Zappi. I don't think the Browns are going to add another quarterback.
Even Steve knows. Steve just texted us and said the Eagles cut him because he don't got special teams value.
Yeah, right. By the way,
I'm trying to tell you.
Do you know the Patriots only have 1 quarterback on their roster right now?
Yeah, I mean it's.
Why did they cut Bailey Zappi?
I think that the reason they cut both of their quarterbacks is because they want to do the thing where you elevate the quarterback every week so you can keep them on practice squad. Some weeks you don't have to elevate them.
Yeah.
So you can keep them on practice squad money. But if they're really rolling the dice because if somebody was to take both of them and waiver, which I don't think will happen, maybe Bailey Zappi, I don't know about the Cunningham kid, then they have to have somebody that they know can get it done, like Brian Hoyer or somebody like that.
Isn't he on a team, Brian Hoyer? Or is he?
I don't think so. I think he got
Matt Ryan's out. Go ahead. Carson Wentz? No.
Carson Wentz is out there. Just to give you guys a little context, Trey Sermon has 3 games in his career with double-digit carries. In the first one, he went 10 for 41 with 2 touchdowns. The second one, 19 for 89. And the third, 10 for 32 and a touchdown. So very limited carries, but whatever. The next 6, none of these really make sense for the Browns. They were just some notable names. Do any of these guys? Robbie Chosen is formerly known as Robbie Anderson.
There are 2 Browns on that list. Former
Browns. Danny Shelton, Jamison Crowder. Trent Taylor was just actually picked up by the Bears. I made this morning.
We got Danny
Colt
Shelton.
McCoy and Zonovan Knight.
Ika is like Danny Shelton.
I will say that Zonovan Knight,
the running back,
looked good for the Jets at times last year.
He did.
I mean, he had to start for him a couple of times.
He was starting for them at the end of the year, so maybe. Robbie Chosen I've honestly never heard of. I don't know why he's notable.
That's Robbie Anderson, who changed his name to Robbie Chosen.
That's right.
Really? You didn't know that?
I forgot. He's done, isn't he, at this point?
He.
Same thing with Crowder. Danny Shelton stinks. The Browns drafted him in the first round. Oh, another bad draft pick. You know what Danny Shelton is great at? Does anybody know this? I bet G knows.
Jumping on the pile.
Jumping on the pile. He is the best player in the NFL at jumping on piles.
He be trying to get a piece of that tackle so tough.
Hey, pad the stats.
I was there.
Because the PFF looks at things like that.
I was. Hey, listen, no.
None of these guys are overly.
Yeah, none of them.
Nah.
So a lot
Shout
of
out to Trent Taylor, though. I played with him. Good dude.
I think Colt McCoy's career is probably over at this point.
Yeah, that's a wrap, too.
They cut him one day after trading for Josh Dobbs, which says everything you need to know about Colt McCoy's future in the NFL. So real quick, before we get into the next part, and I got a bunch of super chats. I see them. We'll read them in a sec. Do not worry. Outside of the kind of no-name guys, the Austin Watkins, who outside of Cleveland, most of the league wouldn't know, none of these big-name guys really appeal to you as someone you think the Browns should be at the front of the line to add, right? Just make sure we're all on the same page.
I've said the name Kenyon Drake for the last 3 days. That's the guy I'm most interested for the Browns.
They're not going to do that now that they made that trade. That's over with. That running back thing over with. Unless you telling me Jerome Ford is out for 6 weeks, then now we need to.
They could have 4 running backs. You're going to cut. You can put a lot of those linebackers on IR. Go ahead, Mike. What was that?
I got a couple super chats, then we'll play the game. And these super chats.
See what the fans have to say.
Yeah, I'm going to read these super chats. We appreciate all you guys out there for tuning in. We've had some big numbers the last couple of weeks, big numbers on Behind the Glass, and it's because you, the people, we do this, and we duly appreciate you. So we got a couple super chats. We're going to read them now.
Not good because I'm here.
All right, first super chat of the day comes from Kenny Moss. Guys, hear me out. What if we traded defensive tackle, cash, and a second-round pick to Kansas City for Chris Jones? Imagine that defensive line. Myles Garrett, Tomlinson, Chris Jones, and Darius Smith.
First of all, we don't have no picks to give. You got to pay Chris Jones, which I don't know if we got money to do that either. But if they was somehow to finesse it and it work, it'd be unbelievable. We take that in a heartbeat.
It would take a lot more than that.
Yeah, it would take with a heartbeat. But
second-round pick?
I mean, you're
and I don't even think they would trade him to us.
First of all, they wouldn't. You're not going to trade him first of all, they won't trade him. Second of all, if they were going to trade him, you trade him to the NFC.
Yeah.
Third of all, if you're going to trade him, you're going to have to give up more than a second-round pick and some slappy at the back end of your roster.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
All right,
it'd be nice, but it's not happening.
So Josh Heisler. Hurst had 2 sacks in the preseason. Elliott had 2 sacks all of last season. Hurst is clearly the better player. If they let him sign somewhere elsewhere, the Browns will regret it.
Listen, in the end, we all think that's the case. That what he used as proof is not proof. I've talked about this a million times. The preseason games are just part of the picture. Tyvus, you know this better than anybody, right? That's not the whole picture. There are things behind the scenes
you
that we don't see.
Practice. Maybe he fits that scheme better. I don't know. It's a lot of things that it could be. But like I said, I think Mo Hurst will be back. I think they have some agreement because a guy like that's making plays like that, you have a conversation with a guy like that before you cut him. And you try to get some common ground and some understanding. He's not one of those guys that, hey, bring your playbook up, we're done with you. That's not the case. No. They definitely had a conversation with him, and they must have felt good about the conversation to why that led them to do that.
Well, the next one kind of goes with something Bull said. It's from Professor Chaos. Bull! Back me up. Stats in the preseason don't mean anything. Just because Hurts looked good in the preseason doesn't mean he'll be good in the regular season.
That is correct.
Next from Chris Bree. Y'all have over expectations on how much you should expect from the draft. Less than 10% of picks really make a difference. Less than 30% even see much field time.
I don't know
next.
if that's accurate or not.
Yeah, we're just going to move on from that. That made no sense. Next, Broady's bottom line. What is Jerome Ford done to be given the running back 2 spot?
I almost cussed.
That's why
I almost cursed on
and that's why, Tyvus said, well, they're not going to bring in another back. I'm like, why not?
I think they have 4.
You feel more comfortable with Kenyon Drake or Jerome Ford as your number 2 back?
Kenyon Drake.
I'll say why because he was drafted.
I'm about to say, y'all, that's a big part.
Like
it's a huge
that's
part.
like saying, like, if you go on a blind date with somebody who set you up, right? You're more likely not to go on a second date because they set you up. But if you go on a date with somebody you've been trying to get to go on a date with you for years,
right,
and you've been beating their ears up like, come on, just give me a shot. If any sort of chemistry happens during that date, you are going on a second date. It could be coffee. Y'all could be at the park. It don't even got to be a romantic date.
You went on a blind date before?
Man, I've been on blind. I've been on all types of dates.
I've never in my life been on no blind date.
First of all, you got married when you were how old?
26.
Yeah.
You got married young?
You got married
26 is young?
Yeah.
Well, compared to G and I.
Yeah.
Shut up,
one last super chat. This from Eric Spicer. He says, it's Chosen Anderson, not Robbie Chosen. Eric, if you Google Robbie Chosen or Chosen Anderson, you will see that depending on which news site you listen to.
Yeah, who cares?
They change it. Some have said Chosen Anderson. Some have said Robbie Chosen. It's
Mike,
ESPN has him listed as Robbie Chosen. Which
I just looked at the chat. They said
we care because they
said they want Kareem Hunt back.
Kareem Hunt, I texted you guys
he got 4 offers.
Apparently had 4 offers.
What is he waiting for?
Somebody.
Nobody's making him a starter.
He's waiting for the Browns.
He's waiting on a starter to get hurt so he can come walk in. By the way,
I think Zach Moss might be the starter for the Colts right now, right?
Without Jonathan Taylor, yeah.
And they talking about they was going to trade. I knew they wouldn't trade.
But he can't play for the first 4 weeks.
Who, Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, put him on the PUP list.
Well, Kareem Hunt should go there. It'd be nice in that little RPO game.
He would be good. We're going to play a game here in 1 sec. Before I do, I just want to remind people, if you're in the chat, hit that like button, subscribe, help the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It helps us in the YouTube algorithm. It costs you 0 money, 0 cents, $0, and it goes a long way to making this show a long-term success. The waiver wire claims officially become official in 9 minutes. So in the meantime, let's play a little game. Steve, hit the dramatic music of real player, fake player. Did this player get cut before the 53-man roster cutdowns, or did I create this name on my own? Are you guys ready? It's a real or fake. You don't need a whiteboard. We're just going to go and fly off. Are you guys ready?
How do you guys feel like you're going to do in this game? Earl struggled.
Earl went 3 for 16 this morning.
What did I got to do?
He's going to put up a name. We got to say, is it a guy who was cut by some NFL team or it's a made-up name?
Oh, okay.
I mean, Earl went 3 out of 16. So
the baseball one was hard as hell.
Baseball I would do a lot better. But football, this is tough.
I hope not.
Because who's going to know, like, a guy battling for the 53rd spot on the Carolina Panthers?
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
He can care less.
All right. First one, Ben Banogu. Real or fake?
That sounds similar to a real name.
It does.
That's fake.
I'm going fake also.
B squared is fake.
You guys all said fake?
Yeah.
All said fake? Steve, is Ben Banogu a real player? Yes, he is. Ben Banogu was cut from the Indianapolis Colts.
Never heard of him.
He looked like he got shoulder pads on.
Never heard of him.
Never.
Playing in the 70s.
He actually did get cut from the Cowboys. He was drafted by the Colts. Next up.
Wow.
Steve, you ready? DeAnthony Relic. Real player?
Oh, that's real.
Fake player.
That's real. I don't know. I'm just guessing. That's real.
That's got to be fake.
What a name. DeAnthony Relic? That sounds like a creative player.
That's a Mike made-up name right there.
DeAnthony Relic.
Where are you going?
Real.
I'm going to go D-Ara. D-R is, I'm going to go, that's made up.
So 2 fakes and a real?
DeAnthony
The answer?
Relic.
It is my one.
I knew that was
I was like, that was too clean.
I knew it.
That was too clean.
He takes a good name like DeAnthony because that's
That's
and adds a ridiculous last name.
Relic.
All right, next up. Ayo Ayola.
What?
Is Ayo Ayola a real player?
That's got to be real. I'm going real on that one.
No,
it's so crazy that it does.
No way he could have made that last name up.
No.
All 3 reels?
Yeah, I'm gonna go real because that is.
Ayo Ayola is real.
Yeah!
Jaguars.
I told you.
Yeah.
I said he can't
Ayola.
say Diabete yet.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to.
with the African.
He can't say
I don't think he would have made those up.
All right, next up. Tommy DeVito. Real or fake?
Oh, that's real. That's the quarterback from Illinois that last year. He just got cut.
In fact, I quote tweeted him being cut and didn't put a Danny DeVito thing.
Yeah, that's real.
Yep. Easy
1,000%.
They all got it right. Tommy DeVito is real. He was cut. All right, next up, Steve. Who do we got? How about Jadakiss Bonds?
Nope.
No way. Yeah, no way. No way.
Shout out to D blocking the locks.
Jadakiss.
That is a Mikey McNugget special.
Is Jadakiss Bonds real, Steve?
No chance.
Show him. Jadakiss Bonds was just cut by the Green Bay Packers.
What?
Jadakiss Bonds is a real player.
Oh my God! What?
Wait, hold up, because true story. This is the one I got wrong, and I said he took the rapper Jadakiss, and then I James Bond.
That's what I said. Jadakiss.
That sounded like the most fake name ever.
Jadakiss Bonds.
I can't believe you got us, my fan, on that one.
Jadakiss Bond is such a good name.
Oh my God!
He was cut by the Packers.
I was so sure that was fake.
What position does Jadakiss Bonds play?
Linebacker. I was gonna say
Safety. There you go.
Nice.
All right, next up, Rashad Coward.
No, that's got to be fake, right? Wouldn't you have changed this?
I don't like this game because I don't know now. True. Real. I don't know.
Bull says fake. Tyvis says real. G, which side are you going with?
I don't know now.
I'm gonna go with real. I'm going fake on
two
that
reals
one.
and a fake. Rashad Coward is real.
Oh my God! Why did he change his last name?
What do you think this is? Robbie Anderson?
Dude,
Chad Ochocinco?
Have I told this story before? I can't remember.
I don't know what story. You can't just ask. You've told a story before.
It's a quick story. I worked at a camp, a day camp, when I was like 18. I was a counselor at camp. And two of my friends, they were two brothers, and their last name was Lipschitz.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me about this.
They changed their name?
Now, when you say they're brothers, were they black people or were they actually brothers?
Why would you ask?
Gee, that was my first thought,
Don't even ask a question. Like, you know, what's their last name?
They're Jewish.
Okay, yeah.
You can't be black and Jewish, you can't be, but they were not black, no.
What did they change it to?
Gannon. Gannon.
I like that.
I think it was like their cousin's name.
Yeah, I would have
much better last name than Lipschitz.
That's
all right, you guys ready for the next
one?
Go ahead. We got a bunch more. How about this? Bobby Townsend Jr.
Oh, that's fake. That's fake because it sounds too real.
I think there got to be like 5 of them.
Right. It sounds like such a generic white dude name. And Mike was like, I'm going to throw a junior on there.
He ain't white. I'm going to tell you that right now.
You don't think it's a white guy name?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a town. It was a football player whose last name was Townsend before. But
there's a black person named Robert Townsend. Literally Bobby Townsend.
So real or fake? Bull, what are you going with?
I'm going, that's fake. That's fake.
G?
Fake.
I'm gonna go with real.
G says real, Tyvis?
I don't know. I don't know.
Shout out to Robert Townsend and Meteor Man.
Fake.
Survey says Steve, Bobby Townsend Jr. is fake.
Yeah.
Not a real player.
By the way, one of everybody's favorite white guy wide receivers,
Joe Jurevicius.
Andy Isabella.
Oh, he's from Mayfield.
Goes from team to team. Everybody says he's great. He gets cut. Has just re-signed with the Bills for their practice squad.
Okay. Nice. All right, next up, Chase Green.
Chase Green.
That seems
It sound.
That's fake.
It sounds like something that's a common fake. I'm gonna say fake.
I'm going fake across the board here.
3 fakes. They call me out my BS. They're right. Chase Green is not real.
Chase Green is a platoon middle infielder for the in the Rockies farm.
Chase Green sound more like a model than the name.
All right, next up, Lucky Jackson.
What?
Lucky Jackson.
It's so crazy that it's real.
That's real.
It's so crazy that it's real.
He sound like he played in the Negro Leagues. I'm gonna go with Lucky Jackson.
Lucky Jackson is real.
Don't it?
That does.
He was just cut by the Minnesota Vikings. Lucky Jackson is real. All right, Steve, next up, who we got? Nick Anderson.
Didn't he play for the Orlando Magic?
I was about to say that.
He missed 4 straight field goals, 4 straight free throws against the Rockets.
Right. Oh my God. What year was that?
Real.
94. That was the first year the Rockets.
Some kicker.
We have a real Bull.
Nick Anderson. I'm going fake. It's generic.
This is a real person.
Real or fake? Bull says fake. The other guys say real. The answer is real.
Yep.
I mean, that's a common name. I'd rather play the odds on that.
I thought it would be so obvious that it's a generic name.
Even if it was, it's so many players, 90 players, 32 teams. Somebody's name is Nick Anderson.
Right. Yeah,
All right, next up. How about Sam Smallwell?
What you say? I thought you said Sam Swallow. I was gonna be like, he need to go get that changed.
Fake. Sam Smallwell might be fake.
Sam Smallwell, I think that's fake.
I'm gonna say it's real.
Tyvis says real. G.
Double S.
2S.
Double S.
I'm gonna say this is
running back.
I'm gonna say this is real.
I'm going fake.
2 reals and a fake. The answer is fake. Sam Smallwell does not exist.
Sammy Smallwell.
We got just a couple more, and waiver wires have officially opened, so we'll run through these. How about this one? Quantrez Knight.
You know what?
There's no way that's real. Wait a second. Or is it so absurd with the double Z?
Real.
Real.
I'm going fake.
Real.
Quantrez Knight is real.
Real.
All right, how about the next one?
Yeah.
You're gonna like this one, Bull.
It's harder than it looks.
Racy McMath.
Racy McMath. That can't be real.
How about to
Racy
say
McMath.
false? I'm saying false.
That's like one of the guys from Impractical Jokers making up that name.
Man, come on, man.
We got 3 fakes for Racy McMath, and you have 3 wrong answers.
Oh
Racy
my
McMath
God!
is a receiver for the Tennessee Titans.
Dude, how old is that guy? Looks like he's 50.
Give me that.
He's real.
Put that
I
picture
promise.
back up. Look at this guy, Tyvis.
We got it. Racy
Who's
McMath. He does look
McMath
quite
again?
old.
He looks like he's 50.
He looks like he's 50.
He doesn't look like a Racy.
Oh, and I asked my boy May. They getting it's 12 to 16 before taxes, so something like 7,000 a week, which is still good money.
Good money, yeah.
All right, just a couple more, guys. How about Dan Skipper?
This sounds like a long snapper.
This is fake.
Dan Skipper, false.
I'm going fake, too.
False.
3 fakes, and for the second straight time, you guys have been stumped. Dan Skipper
Oh, my God.
is real.
Is it
for the Colts.
Is he a long snapper?
He plays offensive line.
That guy don't look big enough.
All right, just 2 more. I believe there's 2 more. How about 3 more? I lied. How about Bo Niedermeyer?
No way.
Niedermeyer.
He sounds
No chance that's
He
real.
sounds like a catcher for the Cardinals.
False.
All right, 3 falses. You guys are right this time. Bo Niedermeyer does not exist. All right, 2 more. One of these was Anthony's favorite. I won't tell you which one. Steve, ready for the next one? How about Lil Jordan Humphrey?
That's real.
That's real.
Yep.
That is real.
Yep.
Anthony laughed so hard. Anthony's like, there's no way this is real. Lil Jordan Humphrey's very real.
Yeah, I heard it.
Was a very successful college
That was
receiver.
one of the few guys I was actually sure about.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Steve, you ready? How about Sincere McCormick?
I think that's real too.
False.
That's a great name. I'm going with Tyvis. I'm saying fake.
So 2 fakes and a real, and G. Bush gets the last point, which means he's real.
Yes.
Final tally.
Yes.
In 3rd place with 9, Adam the Bull. In 2nd place with 10,
I forgot we were even keeping.
Tyvis Powell. And that means G. Bush, the people's champ, once again. G. Bush, congratulations.
How many did you get right?
Yes.
11.
I was close.
What I had, so it was 11,
10, 9.
I should have said real on the last one just in time.
Sincere McCormick is code name for real salt.
That's some.
Is that true?
Real salt?
Yeah. You know,
All right.
McCormick's got the salt.
Obviously, the waiver wire moves are going to start breaking here soon, any minute. But until that, Mike, I think we have time to get to some of these fake trades.
Let's do Zadarius Smith first, and then we'll get some fake trades.
fine.
But next up in our 32 and 32 series is Zadarius Smith. And before I tell you about Zadarius Smith, I want to remind everybody that you can become a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. 2 different tiers. The first tier for $1.99 gets you the same starters tier perks that are loyalty badges and custom emojis. For $4.99, that gets you those coaches tier perks. The same thing as the starters tier, plus overtime content and some more really cool opportunities coming forward in the near future. So if you're not a member and you got a few extra bucks and want to support the show, we totally appreciate that. And next up in our 32 and 32 series is Zadarius Smith at number 6. Bo, you've been following along. Where do you have Zadarius Smith on your list?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones that, like, I'm way off with you guys. I got Zadarius Smith 13.
13, wow.
I can't believe you guys have him this high. You think Zadarius Smith is the 6th most important?
Do you want to hear the...
you think Zadarius...
Earl, funny.
First of all, you guys haven't had the DC or the coach.
Correct.
So you think the defensive coordinator is one of the 5 most important people is mind-blowing to me.
He is.
Oh, come on now. More important, players win games, Tyvis. You know that.
You know what I'll say?
Say what he's going to say.
Last year,
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz is coming back with pretty much the same team.
No, pretty much the same team. The defensive line is completely
I
different.
got two different guys.
The whole defensive line is different pretty much,
Two.
except for Myles Garrett.
And Jordan Elliott.
Hey, one, okay.
Oh, wow.
One schlep.
Oh, wow.
Did he not start? Is he not a starter?
All right.
Okay, I
They
just
were
want
the
to know.
worst defensive line in football. G thinks they might be the best this year. I'd say they're up. They've made a major upgrade in talent.
All I'm saying
Plus,
is
you upgraded from John
they
Johnson.
replaced 2 dudes. That's all I'm saying.
They didn't replace 2. They
2 starters.
No, he's not even going to start. Elliott. What are you talking about?
The Washington game, he didn't start?
Their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th best defensive linemen were all not on the team last year. And their best safety, Juan Thornhill, was not on the team last year. Those are pretty significant differences.
Yes, I would agree.
At the end of the day.
And to be fair to Joe Woods, the whole linebacking core was hurt. Maybe this year they stay healthy.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Mary Kay just tweeted, and I quote, "The Browns will add Michael Dunn and Mo Hurst back to the active roster after placing Jordan Kanasic and
All right,
Alex
there you
Wright
go.
on the
No
short-term
harm, no
IR."
foul.
Thank you, I knew that. But that's good. They back on the active roster? Okay, so then if that ball gets kicked off against the Cincinnati Bengals,
Listen,
they lock
I think
in.
Zadarius Smith is important to the Browns, certainly. Maybe I got him a little low at 13, but I think 6 is crazy.
Who do you have in front of him? Out of quick curiosity.
Deshaun Watson,
Okay, that's understandable.
Myles Garrett,
Okay,
Amari Cooper,
okay.
Joel Bitonio,
Yeah.
Nick Chubb,
The Batonio one, go ahead, though.
Denzel Ward,
Okay.
Kevin Stefanski,
Okay.
your boy Jim Schwartz.
Okay. So why you acting like it's so
that's a
absurd if
good
you got him
list.
8th on the list?
That's a good list.
I got
If
Schwartz.
they-
No,
if they
I got Schwartz 10th.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good list.
Jedrick Wills. He's a left tackle. He may
He
not
has
be
to
good,
be,
but it's an
yeah.
important position.
I don't have
What do you mean?
Kevin Stefanski,
But
obviously.
you got Batonio on there?
And then I got your boy Elijah Moore ahead of him.
Great. Good job.
There
Good
you go.
list.
And the only one I might move him ahead of is Juan Thornhill. I got him one spot behind Juan Thornhill.
So for
I might flip-flop that and put him 12.
So Zadarius Smith is obviously a great upgrade. Obviously, he's going to be important. We saw what he could do a little bit in the Kansas City Chiefs game. My thing is this: what can you expect to get from him in terms of production and sacks? Really, like we've seen guys get 9 sacks.
Wait a minute. Let me
We've
ask.
seen Jadeveon Clowney got 9.
Was that his best year? He had 9?
9.
Okay, well, then I don't expect nothing less.
So you expect
9 or better.
9 or better from Zadarius Smith.
Darius Smith had 10 last year.
And he played with some good defensive line last year.
9 or better.
Tailed off at the end of the year. What do you expect him to get for a good season?
I'm expecting him to be right around that number, 9-10 sacks, right? I mean, he's not young.
What do you think? You got 6?
13.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's fine.
right.
9 or better for me. He
Okay.
can't have nothing less than 9.
Now 13. The reason I say
I mean, he is 31 years
That's
old.
not the point. Listen, he's a productive guy, and if Myles Garrett is still demanding a triple team, it ain't no excuse.
he's
like
No.
there's no excuse.
I think.
And he can't even. I don't even think you can triple team Myles.
I
now.
think expect him to get 13 sacks is a lot. I mean,
Oh, I'm
that
not-
far off from 10.
that's that. He was hurt last year.
he was hurt. He
No, he only missed one game.
Zadarius.
He
But
was
16 games
He
last
was.
year.
He had a little nagging injury. at the
He
end of
didn't
the
play
year.
as well second half of the
Okay,
year.
then,
But
I think
reason-
he had most of his sacks in the first 8-9
did.
weeks.
The reason I say 13 is
Yeah.
I just don't. They don't have. I keep saying it. They don't have any responsibilities, man. Like
and that still bothers me.
it's so crazy to me. Like they
bothers
just
me.
like they got some responsibility.
They
but,
better. It better be contained. That's
It-
what I know.
Hey, one of them only. One
You
of
think he's more important to the Browns than Nick Chubb?
No.
Well, these guys put him ahead of Nick Chubb on their list.
no.
We did.
Nick
I actually
Chubb-
stand by that still.
What was Nick Chubb on your list?
8? Yeah, 2 days ago. 8.
Who was
Did all three of you have Zadarius ahead of Nick Chubb?
I'm looking at it right now. I did. Anthony did.
What's the
and
argument for that?
Earl did. I still think the Browns' offensive line is very good, and Nick Chubb's the best running back in football. I believe in Jerome Ford. If he was healthy, 16 games, I think Jerome Ford runs for 1,000+ yards. The difference between Chubb and Jerome Ford is a monumental gap based on just talent. But in this offense,
let me ask you this.
Yes.
Bigger gap. Nick Chubb and Ford, Zadarius Smith and Ogbo.
Bigger gap between Chubb and Ford, but the positional value of defensive end is significantly more important than a running back.
Earl can't use that as an argument.
I'm telling you my answer.
Because Earl blew off Jedrick Wills because he's not that good, and it's arguably the third most important position in football, maybe second.
I had Zadarius. I'll let you jump in 1 second.
Go ahead.
I had Zadarius 8th. Anthony had him 4th. And Earl had him 6th. Yeah, so we had him right in average, 8, 6, 4.
Well, at least we know
had him 4th.
At least we know who the number one is, so who consensus number one is on everybody.
I think Nick Chubb. What people don't get, Nick Chubb will be the difference whether the Browns win the Super Bowl or not. If Deshaun Watson comes back and plays, and you look, see, no one wants to look at it like this. If you go. Like if you look at a triumvirate of guys, so you want to look at a pass catcher, a running back, and a quarterback, right? So if you got the quarterback, and you say Deshaun is back to a top 5 type guy, then you look to receiver. You could argue that Amari Cooper is a top 10-ish, 11-ish top receiver. And then
I don't agree with that, but all right.
But according to the Madden,
I don't give a shit about the Madden.
Amari Cooper is between 15 and 20.
The only reason Amari Cooper is not top 10 is because he don't have that burst anymore.
Right.
That's if his yak was still good.
Right, but that's all part of it.
I mean, yes.
He's a very good receiver. Let me tell you something. Can you put the camera on me here for a second? I'm actually going to look at the camera, which I never do. You talk to my man Nick Chubb, my favorite player on the Cleveland Browns.
Nicholas Jamal Chubb.
Nicholas Jamal. Let me tell you something, man. You got the backing of the 3 panelists here. We love you, and we show you the proper respect. But our behind-the-scenes team of Mike, Anthony, and Earl, they have insulted you. They have said that you, arguably the greatest back in the history of Cleveland Browns football, and yes, I said the greatest back in the history of Cleveland Browns football, when it's all said and done.
That's a little...
Certainly the greatest since Jim Brown.
All right, there we go.
They have said that a 31-year-old good, not great pass rusher is more important to the team than you.
I stand by.
How insulting is that?
That's because they don't.
I'm gonna let Earl chime in.
You know how many times has Zadarius Smith been All-Pro?
Couple things on this. First and
can you
foremost,
answer my question?
Couple things on this.
Answer my question first.
Couple things on this. First
you guys
things
gotta answer my
first.
question, and then you say whatever you want.
First.
No,
answer
I have nothing but
Nick Chubb for nothing but love
for Nick Chubb. Come on, Earl, you gotta
Chubb.
answer my question first.
First things first. I have nothing but love for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb.
Wait, answer the question. I asked you a question.
What's the question?
He made All-Pro once.
He's never been All-Pro. What are you talking
I'm looking at it right here. He was second Pro All-Team in 2020.
Second
Get your facts
team
right.
doesn't
That's
count.
still
You say he never made All-Pro? Yes, he damn did. He damn well made All-Pro.
If I was second team All-Pro, you respect me and call me All-Pro player Tyvus Powell.
Hey, you know what's funny? Guess who has the exact same amount of All-Pro selections as Nick Chubb?
Go ahead.
His name's Zadarius Smith. Guess who's never made a first-team All-Pro team?
Talk to him.
Nick Chubb or Zadarius Smith. So get your damn facts right, boy.
Hey, boy, you didn't understand the assignment.
I like that.
The assignment was not ranked the 32 most important positions on the Browns. It was ranked the 32 most important players on the Browns.
You just said the same thing.
No, he said position.
Let me rephrase what Earl was trying to say.
No, I said positions. He's saying because left tackle is an important position. That was not our assignment.
No, I know what you were trying to say. You just said the same thing twice.
Yes.
You just said the assignment wasn't ranked the 32 most important positions.
What was the exact question, Mike? Say it again.
It was the 32 most important people in the Browns organization for the upcoming season. And I stand by the fact, just like my colleagues back here, that's Zadarius Smith.
You're right.
Having 2 elite pass rushers.
Y'all all are wrong. It should have been Andrew Berry. Most important guy.
What? Tyvus,
most important person.
Now that the season has started?
Because it was his job to get everybody in.
Well, we're talking about for the season, like once we're in the season.
I mean, he got to make
cuts.
Let
Earl get his point. I didn't let him get his point because I wanted him to answer.
No, my whole point was nothing but love for Nick Chubb. Actually, fun story. My cousin that's getting married, the wedding I'm officiating, Nick Chubb actually stays across the street from the fiance's mother and gave my baby cousin an autographed picture for his first birthday. So it's nothing but love for Nick Chubb.
Are you going to officiate the wedding in a Nick Chubb jersey? I'll let you borrow mine.
Let's do it.
Can't do that.
Let's do it. But no, Zadarius Smith is very important.
Don't you do it.
I mean, the Browns suffered on the defensive line. They didn't have no pass rush. And you put somebody like that opposite of Myles Garrett, it only makes Myles Garrett's job easier. And I think he'll have a great season. He's more important to the Browns than Nick Chubb, especially since we sit here talking about Deshaun Watson having the keys to the offense.
Ooh.
Darius Smith, and let me add on
See
to
that? I don't know about that.
There was no legit argument there.
Listen, Earl is absolutely saying the right thing.
No, Earl is wrong.
No,
Earl's wrong.
He might be a
the
little.
most impossible thing to stop in the NFL is a dominant pass rush. And we've seen Myles Garrett has been phenomenal.
Darius Smith is not a dominant pass rusher. Myles Garrett's a dominant pass rusher. So Darius Smith's a good pass rusher. He's not an elite player.
But he's a guy that you can't ignore like you could the last couple seasons with the pass rushers opposite of Myles Garrett.
Let's just bring this down. Let's just be real about this. Listen, Nick Chubb when you say you the best at your position, let's get the position out the way. Like when Nick Chubb is an offensive force. He averages 5.3 a carry.
That's ridiculous.
You can't tackle him, right?
That's ridiculous.
The first guy is missing. The second guy might get ran over. Nick Chubb can catch the football. Nick Chubb is hard to tackle, period, point blank. And if you got Deshaun Watson, who's a top 5 quarterback, who's throwing the ball, putting the ball on the money, when the game is in the balance, the Browns are the only team that can say we have a top 5 quarterback and a top 5 running back that can get the job done. If you say, who do you want, Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey or Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb? Give me Nick Chubb. The Eagles don't got a running game like that. The Browns are the only team that's lined up that can say, listen, the reason y'all can't beat Patrick Mahomes is you keep giving them the ball back. We going to put points on the board and then keep the ball. And that's how we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Browns win like 4 games without Nick Chubb last year, in my opinion.
Last year.
Which is crazy and exceptional.
Last year.
There's so few running backs that make an impact, and Nick Chubb's one of the few guys that do.
I got a question for G. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right about everything you just said about Nick Chubb. But how has that benefited to the Browns' overall success?
Well, that you can say it hasn't benefited at all.
But would you agree? Would you agree if you would have had a guy like Zadarius Smith playing opposite of Myles Garrett if you would have had this defensive line, it would have garnished more success even with Nick Chubb doing so.
And wait a minute, in 2020 when they went to the playoffs, was it because of Baker or was it because of Nick Chubb more so?
It was Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Baker deserves his credit.
Now listen,
I'm just asking a question.
To me, I play defensive end, and to be truthful, defensive ends don't make enough of an impact on every single play. When you got a guy that can take the ball and score, that's why there's only been one person that won the MVP as a defensive player. It's almost impossible. Like we've seen people get 20 sacks, right? 20 sacks. 22, what is the record? 23? 20, what is it?
23 and a half.
23 and a half sacks. You got 23 and a half sacks, and they were not in the voting. Because
Michael Strahan wasn't in the vote that year?
You're never realistically in the voting.
And guys, just think of it this way. If Zadarius Smith gets hurt, I got Ogbo.
And we still roll.
He's a pretty decent player.
You did say that.
Not important at all.
You really said Ogbo wasn't important. You was sitting here ripping us apart for even having him on the list. You were talking about a whole bunch of other guys that's more important.
You gotta go back and look.
Let me see what I have on the list.
Hey, we're all on the list. Let me check
see if that's proof.
Let me check the list of integrity.
That's a lie. I got Ogbo 24th on my list. You're a liar. That's
the
a lie.
Browns have re-signed Kellen Mond to their practice squad.
Who gives a shit? We're in the middle of an argument.
We in the middle of an argument?
If Kellen Mond plays, the season's over. Earl, would you rather have Zadarius hurt this year or Nick Chubb? If one of those guys got hurt for the year, which would concern you more?
You out of here. You know that.
Which one would concern me more? If Nick Chubb went down, that obviously would concern me more.
So then how do you have – that's the end of the debate.
Wait, what did he say?
He just admitted that Nick Chubb would be a bigger loss.
You're huge.
That's the end of the debate. That's the end
how
of
could you
it.
put Zadarius? How is
You
he
going
more,
backwards. You sit up here. I'm talking about Ogbo. I done moved on. You literally said Ogbo was not that important. You tried to rip me and G-Head off and give him his kudos.
Because I put him
now
24th.
all of a sudden, if
24th, he's not that
Smith
important.
got hurt, you got Ogbo.
I don't even know what to tell you.
Are y'all on strike on the water?
No.
You want to strike on us?
I mean,
Get Tyvus some water.
No. I had it last week.
The argument is over. I love you. I know you're mad right now,
that's
but
a
you
whole
lost
new
the
pack
argument
back there, though.
because you just admitted that Nick Chubb would be a bigger loss.
Okay.
He would be.
So then how do you put...
But that wasn't the question, rank the players based on who will be the bigger loss. That was not the assignment.
Okay.
The question is who's more important.
What difference does it make?
If Nick Chubb is getting hurt is a bigger loss, then he's more important. No?
What difference does it make? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
That's true.
Tyvis, that's the motto we had on this show. We did the most boring show in the history of YouTube.
Yeah, really.
Tyvis, come on, man. You could have came back stronger than that, bro.
Things would be pretty freaking boring around here if we were agreeing on everything. Saying, well, that's a great opinion. I don't want to argue with you. You can't handle the argument. Get the hell out of the kitchen. Earl can handle himself. He's going back at me. I give him his kudos. He's mad now because I beat him in the argument.
It's not just Earl. It was a consensus. Don't y'all?
But those two knuckleheads haven't just being smart and shutting up.
Wait a minute. How is it? How do y'all
Earl, I wasn't calling you a knucklehead. I said Anthony
He's calling
and
me
Mike
and Anthony a knucklehead because we use facts.
So if y'all got three votes,
they're both one-time All-Pros. Well, neither's ever made first-team All-Pro, which is, by the way, a damn disgrace to Nick Chubb because he deserves to be an All-Team first pro.
Nick Chubb on a Hall of Fame track, yes or no?
Fact.
Is the Zadarius Smith on a Hall of Fame track?
If he takes Tom Brady's play forever juice, yes.
So was Nick Chubb Nick Chubb was you said Nick Chubb only was All-Pro one time?
That's
period?
Insane.
Yeah, All-Pro second team last year was the first time he made All-Pro.
That's insane.
According to Pro Football Reference.
Wow.
Now listen,
but that was a good job out of you. I don't know if it was Mike or Earl that got that. You got me on that one. I
did get you on that one. So Nick Chubb, by the way, according to Pro Football Reference, I'm just going off. His rookie season, no awards. He only played in 16 games, 9 starts. Still almost had 1,000 yards. He's been a Pro Bowler in each of the 4 seasons since, but his only All-Pro appearance was in 2022 when he was second-team All-Pro behind Josh Jacobs last year.
Remember, at running back, they only take one guy.
One guy, exactly. So there's only 2 All-Pro running backs all year.
Whereas, on the defensive positions, there's more than one.
So there's 4 total that make it.
Yes.
That is a valid point.
Otherwise, if there was 4 running backs that got picked, he would have been picked every year.
Yeah. I'm going to look up.
Should have been picked
who do you think were the I'm going to look this up real quick. All-Pro teams in 2019.
Derrick Henry.
So the running backs were McCaffrey and Henry.
That's right. All-Pro is not an AFC and an NFC.
No, it's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
In 2020,
Derrick Henry.
It was Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook. In 2021, Jonathan Taylor and Joe Mixon.
Wow.
Yeah, Mixon had a good big year.
Last
year was Chubb and Josh Jacobs, excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a few minutes here. I'm going to do a fast read,
Yeah.
and then I'm not sure if we're going to get into the full segment. We'll start. But
Start it.
I'll at least mention this again. We mentioned this earlier in the show. If you guys need Browns gear, Cavs gear, Guardians gear, but especially Browns gear for the upcoming season, there is no place you should rather be buying it than fanatics.com/UCSS. They have the full arsenal, all the Browns gear you need, anything you need to look swaggy for the upcoming season. And if you buy it using the code fanatics.com/UCSS, it's in the description of our YouTube videos. And Anthony will make sure he drops it in the chat. We get a little kickback on it. We got our first report on how much we've made in the first month. And let's just say, Browns fans, y'all have definitely been buying your Browns gear. We appreciate you guys and continue to buy your gear at fanatics.com/UCSS. And breaking news from Anthony, the championship belt is on Fanatics. So if you want to buy that Browns championship belt for $550, you can buy it on fanatics.com.
You got first of all, you got to remind them what audience you talking to. When they say the championship belt is on Fanatics, they thinking about the one right here.
That's what I
on
thought.
Studio.
That's exactly
and that
what
is
I thought.
definitely not for $550. This boy right here
it's not
is
for sale, though.
No, it's not. What you talking about?
I mean, it's got
the Browns belt.
By the way, we're about to get into a segment about fake trades. Just in this moment, I was offered a blockbuster trade in my keeper league.
Tell us.
What is it?
I've been offered Christian McCaffrey
Okay.
for Brandon Ayuk and Khalil Herbert.
Why would you not take that?
I'm about to say, why wouldn't you take it?
Because the only reason I would consider not taking it is because Christian McCaffrey's contract is $50.
You got money on there? Oh, man.
Cap's $200.
That's too much.
That's a
He's making
cap.
$50, where Khalil Herbert and Ayuk. Now, I can't keep Khalil. I can only keep one out of the two between Ayuk and Herbert.
I hope you keep it Ayuk.
And Ayuk's $12. But I already have Devontae Smith. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Calvin Ridley. So I don't really need Ayuk.
So trade him.
I'd keep McCaffrey.
I'm take McCaffrey.
I'm being offered McCaffrey.
I'd take McCaffrey.
I would take McCaffrey.
I think I might do it.
Heck, shit.
I think I might do it. It's a lot of
money. I
thought
you was going to say that in this very moment you seen that the Colts tried to get Jalen Waddle for Jonathan Taylor.
But that tweet was put out by that clown. I give him no credit.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
That is hilarious to hear.
Trading him. Let's see. There was also a report that the Packers tried to trade for Jonathan
Which
Taylor.
made no sense either. They still have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Now, Jones is going to be gone after this year, but there's no point in having 3 guys this year.
That's weird.
Unless that says they don't trust Jordan Love. I mean, that could be the ultimate insurance plan for Jordan Love.
I don't know, man. I think Jordan Love might be decent this year. What do you guys think?
I think he's going to play well.
I want to know if Cade York is coming back.
There's no word on Cade York. All we've seen so far, and this is from Mary Kay, and I will continue to let you guys know as information comes out, but the Browns plan to add Michael Dunn and Mo Hurst back to the active roster after placing Jordan Kanasik and Alex Wright on the short-term IR. Mary Kay then tweeted the Browns also hope to sign, keyword, hope to sign, Austin Watkins and Jalen Darden back to the practice squad, as well as Isaiah Thomas, Tommy Togiai, and Kellen Mond. If Cade York would be willing to come back, they would welcome him as well, unless he prefers a change of scenery. So no word on those official moves yet. I did see Brad Steinbuch tweeted out that Darden, is back, but I have not seen that from.
Why did he bring back Tommy Togiai? What is the point?
Go Bucks.
because he's
a draft pick.
He's sturdy.
Because he played for the Buckeyes. That's why.
He's sturdy. You put him in there.
He had like a half a sack on the preseason. What's wrong with you?
Piece of a joint. Got a little piece of something.
All right, we want to do the segment with fake trades. We want to do one.
Well, I have a fan submitted fake trade.
Okay.
And I don't want to get into the rest because each one's going to take a few minutes, and as soon as Gene Smith
gets
on,
we do them after Gene Smith? Do we have time?
We'll see how it goes on time.
Okay.
If not, we'll do it tomorrow or later this week because some of these are really fun.
But I want to hear. Apparently, you and Earl got into a big
Me and Earl
argument.
got into a big beef this morning. I do have 2 super chats, though, real quick. The first one's from Professor Chaos.
All right.
In regards to our Chubb versus Darius conversations, it's actually a really good question. If the Browns are ahead in a game this year in the fourth quarter, trying to close out a close game, or he doesn't say close, but trying to close out a game, who's more important to that crusade, Chubb or Zadarius?
Chubb, but it ain't even close.
Zadarius Smith is a very good, very important player.
Yes.
I will grant you, I probably had him too low on my list. I would, if I had to do it again right now, I'd move him up a little higher. But to me, putting him ahead of Nick Chubb is just.
He's gonna have 13 sacks.
Is he above? Is he below Elijah Moore?
No, he above Elijah Moore.
Okay.
I think I would put him ahead of Thornhill and Elijah Moore if I had to redo it.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's say he gets 13 sacks, as G just said he thinks he can.
Yeah.
Is a 13-sack defensive end more important than a 1,400-yard running back?
No. It's not just about the yards with Nick Chubb.
I know.
There's more to it than that.
I'm just giving you stats if these were the two scenarios.
If he get 23 sacks,
Nick Chubb wears down a defense more than any, including Derrick Henry, I think, more than any back in football. And that's something you can't
and think about this.
Put a stat on.
Think about this. Deshaun Watson is going to get single coverage. They can't have 96 guys in the passing route. They can't have 97 DBs. If it is a running down and they run play action, people will be wide open. And Deshaun Watson, and what Stefanski does, he eliminates. Think what Baker was doing. He eliminates the tough throws with just the way he's going to approach. All right, here's a run game. Here's a play action. Now those tough throws where you got to throw a 30-yard comeback route where you don't have the arm strength, or you got to throw something in the back shoulder. Those are gone.
Yeah.
But the crazy part about it is now you have a quarterback that can hit those throws.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, I know it's going to change based on the play, but in general, how many guys, like you got Nick Chubb, you got Deshaun Watson. Let's say Deshaun Watson is playing at Houston Texan level. Okay, how many guys you got in the box in general?
I'm gonna go to Tyvus. You played
what
in
do
the
you
league.
think? How many guys you played in the box?
7.
No.
With Deshaun, Houston
with Nick Chubb.
With Nick Chubb.
Dang,
that's a tough call, right?
It's got at the minimum 6.
Minimum 6, but maybe 7.
Yeah.
If Jerome Ford is in the backfield, what are
7.
you doing?
Oh, 5. We good. 5.
I mean, you think Deshaun Watson?
I mean, we still gonna go. It depends on what else is on the field.
Of course, it's gonna
what's the personnel?
No team get.
Like
Jerome Ford is just a guy.
12 personnel.
Yeah.
Real quick.
I'm running the 4-3.
We'll save
I'm
the
running
fake trade from the
box.
fan for after our next guest. Ian Rappaport did confirm the Packers were the mystery team in on Jonathan Taylor. So not just Stephen Holder reporting that, but Ian Rappaport now confirming that report. And Tyvis, do you want to do the honors and introduce our next guest joining the show?
Yeah, joining the show next is one of the best ADs in Ohio State history, man, and I can't believe that this is like his farewell tour of this season, and it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that he's going to really enjoy his retirement. We're going to miss you. Gene Smith, the current AD at Ohio State. Gene, what's going on, my man?
You, brother, how's my hometown doing?
You know, man, they missing you, trying to do everything the right way, though. And why? I just got to know, how did you not tell me that you was retired? And I had literally just seen you like a week before, and you didn't even mention it at all.
You asked.
I didn't ask because I didn't think.
Well, that was the magic of that moment. If you recall, everybody thought I was going to show up and at the press conference and start talking about expansion that had just occurred the week before, and I threw a bomb on them. I shocked them. And that's man. I wanted to control the message. In life, that's you want to control the narrative when you have that opportunity. So I didn't tell anybody. The only ones that knew was my wife and my family, and that was it, man. So had to control it, brother.
Man, we gonna miss you. Man. I can't believe that this is really coming to an end, man. You made such an impact at Ohio State. I mean, just being there all those years, controlling all of those sports. How did you manage to not only show football love, but also go to volleyball games and field hockey matches and stuff like that? How did you manage to keep that all, just showing your face at all sports?
Well, Tyrus, that's my passion. It's the student athletes we serve, and I'm fortunate that my wife Sheila. She was an athlete, played for the Canadian Olympic team in 1976, and was a head coach at UNLV for a number of years. So athleticism is in her blood, and so it made it easier for me to be able to go to athletic events like volleyball, synchronized swimming, and tennis, and all the other sports because both of us enjoy them. And the student athletes that I serve, I want them to see that I care about them. And the way you do that is to show up. And so I've tried to go to as many events as I could.
Gene, have you seen the series of videos that Tyvis has done where he's playing against athletes of the other sports? If you have seen them, how do you think he's done? He's done fencing, he's done basketball. How would you grade his effort in these other sports?
I appreciate his passion, and he's from my hometown, so I know he has it in him that he's going to try anything. Yeah. The only issue I had was when he put those skates on. I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know. Those aren't rollerblades. That's not like going to
the thing is, I thought I handled myself really well. I grew up learning how to rollerblade, so I rollerblade first. And if you ice skate, it's pretty much essentially the same thing. So I had no problem with the skating part. It was other things that I couldn't handle. That hockey's hard, man. Hockey a tough sport.
That puck moves fast, especially when you're competing against top-level athletes. I mean, they're national champions, they're Olympians, man. That was brutal.
I got a new respect for them all. Let's just say that.
That's right.
Gene, we gonna get down. I gotta get down to the business, man. You on the way out, and you know what? You had a great career. You done did a lot of monumental things, but the most monumental things, because I know you had some dealings with this. I gotta ask, why y'all do the Pac-12 like that? Y'all, why y'all do them like that? Y'all did them. Listen, the first time you was here, it was UCLA and USC. You was like, yeah, we want to keep continuing to build the process. I said, I like him. The next time you come on, you done snatched up Oregon and Washington. You in every major city moving. Tell us the thought process behind that with the Big Ten, and do y'all have any more tricks up your sleeve?
Well, we really thought long and hard and went through an unbelievable process, as you know, with UCLA and USC. So that was well thought out, well planned, and it went well. The Oregon and Washington move kind of fell upon us. We did not anticipate that we would be adding them. And fortunately, obviously, when we did USC and UCLA, we studied Oregon and Washington, so our learning curve when it actually came to us was not that high. So it really happened to us fast. I believe it was a Wednesday night. We, as athletic directors, we got a text from Tony Petitti, our commissioner, and he shared that we needed to have a call with us the very next morning. And basically, TV came to the table, and they offered Oregon and Washington north of $30 million each to come into our league. So that was new monies. That was not dilutive to us relative to the deal that we had already cut with USC and UCLA and our television partners. So there was no pain to us from that point of view. So we were shocked. And obviously, you got two great brands. It helps with the balance of the schedule in a big way. And so we made the move and was able to convince our presidents to move in that direction. And I think we're done, but what time is it? If you look at my text messages, but I think we're done. And, I feel bad for Cal and Stanford and Washington State and Oregon State and pray they find a home. But right now, I think we're settled for a little while.
Gene, what do you say to the people who would say, okay, I get it, it's big business, football and basketball, a lot of money, but what about the kids who play, the other sports, the volleyballs and all the travel that they have to go through? There's usually in those sports, I guess there's a lot of midweek games. I don't know. What are you saying to the families? Because I'm sure they're calling you, the families of those student athletes. What's the answer for those other sports?
Well, there's a couple of things. I've always been transparent and just forthright with people. Let's be clear. Those sports exist because football generates the revenue to allow them to exist. And so making sure that we optimize our revenue opportunities around football, and particularly with our television partners, is significant. We need to make sure we continue to do that. Now, as we build a framework that's being built for travel with our student athletes, we're going to be sensitive to how many times they have to travel west and how many times those teams have to travel east. We're going to be sensitive to that. Now, keep in mind, a number of our Olympic sports already travel around the country. Frankly, they travel out of this country. And so, many of our Olympic sport athletes are familiar with the challenges around travel. But what we have to do is make sure we don't we mitigate the travel issues that occur during the regular season. So we're going to focus on that and try and minimize any impact on our student athletes.
Gene, the football season is coming up. Obviously, things haven't been the best in the last couple of years. When you look at this team, what do you see different about this year than the past years, and what's your expectation for them this season?
Well, it's a lot of maturity and experience, Tyvus, and you know what that means. We have a lot of players who played a lot of snaps, and they're back leading this team. And so I'm excited that we have great leadership, we have great maturity, and we, of course, have talent. The schedule is in our favor in a lot of ways, but I really, really believe that maturity and that experience on the field will help us in the long run. We have to win championships. We haven't won that in 2 years, and we got to get back to that. That's who we are. Even though our seasons have been successful, we've won a lot of games. We've been in the CFP, but at the end of the day, we need to win championships. And I know our players and our coaching staff and support staff are working hard towards that goal. But I just like these guys, man. they're really mature and I mean, as you know, they're really talented in a lot of spots. Now we got some puppies. Just got to get some snaps early. You know, our left tackle and right tackle on the offensive side of the ball. Then of course our quarterback Kyle McCord, who's been announced, and I'm sure Devin's going to play a lot. They got to get snaps, and but fortunately around them, there's a lot of good players, and then we got to get our defense back to playing like it was when you were playing.
Yeah,
I feel it's going to get there. And when you guys were on the field, I wasn't concerned. I knew our defense was going to win games for us, and we got to get back to that point where we know our defense is going to win games for us.
You know, Gene, when you're in such a high-profile position and it takes such a big requirement of your time, anytime I kind of compare that position to being a professional athlete, you spend so much time cultivating relationships and being around people in the athletic department and touching different people's lives. When you retire, it's going to leave a really big void. Where have you decided you're going to put your energy into? Are you going to put your resources in possibly coming back to Cleveland, doing something in the community in Columbus? Like, what's the next steps for you in your career? Because obviously you have a wealth of knowledge to share and to give back to people in the community.
Well, thank you. My wife and I are going to sell our home here in Columbus, and we're going to move to Arizona. We have a daughter in Arizona with 3 grandkids. We have a daughter in San Diego with 2 grandkids. We have a son in Vancouver, Canada with 2 grandkids. And we do have a daughter in National Harbor right outside of D.C. with 1 grandchild. And, hopefully one day she migrates to the West. But we're largely West Coast centric with our family. And so we're going to be out West. Now, I'm going to stay connected to all the relationships that from a business point of view that matter, and then from a friendship point of view. I'm going to be able to slide back into the shoe every now and then and be a fan, and scream at the officials and those type of things. But my mentors have told me to take the first 6 months and make no commitments. Offers are going to come to you, and so I'm going to do that. My wife and I have some plans on things we want to do, so I'm going to do that in the first 6 months, and then just see what things come at me. But I'm going to be available to a lot of my colleagues across the country as they need advice, particularly whoever replaces me. If she or he needs advice, I'm going to be there for them.
Gene, you played for Notre Dame, of course. Are you surprised or not surprised that all these years later that Notre Dame hasn't gone into a conference, or did you never think they would?
I always felt that it would never happen. I've always been a believer that they should be in a conference. It's not a money issue for them. It's an opportunity for them to be independent and promote the institution. And I get that. I understand why they stay independent, but I kind of gravitate to the student-athlete experience. I lean to conference championships. I think they're so important. When Tyvus had an opportunity to win a conference championship, it was meaningful. There was celebration. It was outstanding experience, and they went through the gauntlet to win that championship. And then obviously when you win a national championship, that's another level. But Notre Dame student-athletes don't have that in football. They have it in all the other sports, but they don't have it in football. So if they're not in the national championship hunt, they're out. And I just think that's not fair to student athletes. I understand their position. I embrace it for their reasoning, but I just kind of feel like every student athlete should have a chance to chase championships, and being in a conference gives you that.
Gene, you played at the same time with Rudy. Obviously, everybody knows the story. It's a famous. I mean, somebody told me over the years that he wasn't as likable a guy as the movie made it out.
This guy.
I happen to know, and I don't know if you remember this guy, Gene. I don't know, but I happen to. There's a college football coach. He coaches in Division III. And he was also a walk-on at Notre Dame in those years. His name is Mike Kemp. Do you remember the name?
Yeah, I remember Mike.
Yeah, and I know him. I knew him because he coached at Utica College a number of years ago, and I was doing play-by-play for them at the time. This is like 25 years ago, whatever. But anyway, you know, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. He said, you know, Rudy was a little bit of a pain in the ass. Is that true? Or what do you got to say about that?
Well, you know, I have nothing bad to say about anybody.
There you go. Try to catch you on the way out.
Political, all that. But I will tell you this, because I don't want to bust anybody's bubble with, you know, with Rudy's movie and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it was embellished to make it a good movie.
Right.
But a lot of it was true. A lot of it was true. I will share this, that, you know, Rudy was one of those guys that on Thursdays, we always tapered down. You know, Thursdays are lighter practice. And, you know, but Rudy didn't understand that. You know? And so that may be where a little bit of that reputation comes from, because he was always full go. And, you know, we were going at like 40% on Thursdays, man, and, you know, just catching blocks and those type of things. And so that it may come from that a little bit. And, you know, he had to fight hard. You know, I have to give him credit. He did go to junior college. You know, he did work out hard. You know, he did have to overcome, and he probably pissed some people off along the way. I get that. But, you know, he was inspirational, just like the movie represents. So, you know, I get it. I get where Mike's coming from and others.
If you're another
walk-on, you have to say about anybody.
That's good. That's good. That was a great answer. Go ahead, Mikey.
From Rudy the walk-on to McNuggets the D3 walk-on. Gene, I do have a question for you here. As I was doing some research getting ready for this interview, I saw 2 different articles reference you as QT, as a nickname you had back in the day, and I couldn't figure out where, why, how, what QT stands for. And from that reaction, if you can't tell us, by all means don't. I was just genuinely curious. Where does QT come from?
I like your curiosity. It will remain that way.
I was in my head like, oh, let me see what this could be.
Tyvis, do you know? You tell us.
I have no idea.
That's some good
research. Sounds like it's buried from a long time ago.
It is buried, you know, and you know, God bless, you know, one of my best friends ever, Ross Brown, my roommate. God bless him, he passed away, unfortunately, and my other roommate, Al Hunter, in Seattle, Washington, had a stroke, and you know, he's hanging in there. But you know, the 3 of us will carry that with us.
I can only imagine.
You know, some things are born in the dorm room, and they ought to stay in the dorm room.
Yep. That book ain't been written.
By the way, Ross Browner was one of my favorite players when I was a kid because he played for the Bengals. Played for the Bengals, late 70s to the mid 80s, right?
That's right. Yeah, he from Warren, Ohio. Ohio. We were good friends. In high school, and I was in high school. We became good friends and worked out together, and ultimately went to Notre Dame together, and we're roommates there. And we picked up Al. Al was a running back from North Carolina. It's amazing. The only guy that I knew at that point in time, and he ran a 9.35 100-yard dash.
Sheesh.
And lost. Lost to a guy by the name of Ivy Crockett. And but he could actually, you know, if you're bored, you can pull up the Alabama 73 national championship game, and he ran back a 99-yard touchdown in that game. The brother could fly. And but yeah, those are my guys, man. Ross was a good friend of mine.
Gene, you know, now that the Pac-12 is kind of going away, how is that going to affect the CFP now? Because I know they had the, you know, conference champions get the first round bye, but if the Pac-12 doesn't exist, how does that affect that, and is those rules going to be changed?
Yeah, Tyrus, I think our commissioners are having that conversation now. The CFP is managed by the 10 commissioners and the athletic director at Notre Dame. And so they have meetings, actually, I believe today, August 30th, where they're discussing the current format that's been proposed and if some modifications need to occur. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. You know, I am a proponent. I believe that we need to be at a minimum of 12. I do believe that our autonomy or Power 5 champions should have automatics. But I'm open to learn and be curious about other ideas that may emerge through those discussions. But so I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I know that they're talking about the format now, and who knows, it may expand it to more than 12, which I've been curious about what that might look like. But I certainly believe that modifications have to occur.
Gene, I want to let me just be frank and just ask you this question. In this new landscape, why do you guys still need the NCAA? When you look at the Big Ten and you look at the SEC, I mean, you look at the model, it just seems like the old NCAA oversight is antiquated. NIL is there now. It's going to be a move pretty soon here where people are going to make them step and just say, well, look, hey, we might as well play all of our players and make it a business decision. And at that point, would you even really need the NCAA to kind of still be in the role as the administrator?
Yeah, I think, that's a great question. I do believe we need a new model, a new governance model. I've been public with my comments that football should be underneath one umbrella, and that it needs a governing body that manages all of college football, and differently than it is right now. It's splintered to some degree. But I do believe we need an overarching governance body for all of Division I. Remember, there's 271 Division I schools. So there's great diversity among those schools, and holding championships and making sure that we have legislation in place to manage all those things is important. Now, should the NCAA be structured the way it is? In my view, no. It needs to modify. But so it has a place, but different than what we're used to. So I believe that's going to happen to us somewhere down the road. We'll either do it ourselves, or they will do it themselves, or the reality is someone will do it for us. And I believe that a new structure needs to emerge.
Gene, we so much appreciate your time. Best of luck if we don't speak to you before your retirement. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you guys. It's a blessing to have this opportunity to be on your show, and keep up the good work. Love everything you're doing, and love all the opinions that you guys share, and the people that you host. So thank you so much, and take care of my man Titus.
Always.
Go appreciate you.
Thanks, Gene.
Great, take care.
Great to chat with him. Is it time for my victory lap?
I got to do a fast read, then yes, you can take your victory lap. I have to get a couple things in here first, and then Steve, just have your hand ready on Bull's mic. If he gets too exuberant, we'll just cut his mic in the middle. But I got one more fast read today, and this is to remind all the good people out there that once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on the situation, myself, Anthony, and Earl get together for a little behind the glass live stream on our YouTube channel. Yesterday was reaction to the cuts the Browns made at the 4 p.m. deadline. Did over 10,000 views again, so shout out to everyone out there who tuned in. We appreciate you guys for having fun with us. We had fun. We almost made Anthony cry at the end, so if you want to see Anthony almost cry, scroll to the very end. It is well worth your time. Anthony got so choked up by the kind words that he was almost about to cry. It was serious. And then he texted us after. It was real sweet. We love you, Anthony. Okay, so before you take your victory lap, Paul, I have to just say one thing. This is from Mary Kay.
What is this victory lap?
No one on the Browns, none of their cuts are picked up on waivers. None of them, including Cade York. Mary Kay says they're in the process
who said that yesterday.
of signing some of them back. Brad Stainbrook reported that Austin Watkins is going to re-sign with the Browns.
The Browns
practice squad. So, Bull, the floor is yours. And Steve, please be ready to cut his mic off if he gets over the top.
Mikey McNuggets laughed when I said Austin Watkins would not get claimed. G. Bush said he was the next great wide receiver. And
I knew he wasn't going to get claimed.
And I think Earl said he was the second best receiver on the Browns. I was waiting for Earl to shoot back in.
We'd let you get your money off.
I knew he wasn't going to
I'm exaggerating, of course. But Austin Watkins, like I said, he's a guy on the practice squad. Nobody was dying to get him on a roster, and that's exactly what happened. Everybody thinks, and this is not just Browns fans, every fan base in America thinks the guy that stood out for them in the preseason is some great player that everybody wants. And most cases, he's not. How many players were actually claimed on waivers? The Browns did claim a DB.
Yeah, yes, they did. A DB from the Chiefs I had never heard of.
Yeah, never heard of the guy. Do you know how many players were claimed total?
I could look. If you let me count, I'll count.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is, and Jason yesterday saying Cade York was going to get claimed on waivers. Jason,
who said that?
Jason said that. Jason's usually on point with stuff,
he's hilarious.
He was lost in the soup.
You think so?
If I have to hear one more time from Jason or Jay about how great a leg Cade York has, I'm going to throw up all over my own leg, and I've done that before on this show. So Austin Watkins is back. That's good. There was no need to panic because, unfortunately, he's just a guy.
I mean,
23 players were claimed via waivers.
23 out of 500 players. So nobody's, going bananas. Any names of note of the 23?
No. I mean, depends on what you count of note.
Yeah.
You want to just read the names real quick?
Yeah.
Tristan Colin. Ever heard of him?
That should have been one of the made-up names.
You know what? We're not even going. We did real good about not being silly guys today.
These are all real. I'm gonna read these quick. These are all legitimate real names. None of these are made up. Yeah. Tristan Colin, Elijah Higgins, Keith Ishmael, ILM Manning, Ilm Manning.
Ilm?
ILM.
Okay.
Starling Thomas, Kayvon Wallace. I've heard of Kayvon Wallace. Claudin Chirillis, Deshaun Jameson, Calvin Throckmorton. That would have been a good made-up name, but it's real. Quindell Johnson, Khalid Kareem, Khalif Halasesi.
Is that the guy that Browns?
Yeah, that's the guy the Browns got.
You heard of him, Divas?
Who?
Khalil Halasesi?
It's Hailassie.
He's a quarterback that Divas
How long he been in the league?
Probably not long.
Less than 3 years if he was on waivers. He was with the Chiefs. You have Zane Anderson, Ben Sims, Alex Austin, Nick Broker, Ryan Haynes, Isaiah Land, Josh Sills, Darius Rush, Tanner Muse, Caillou Blue Kelly, Drake Thomas, and Kendall Victor. Those are the 23 names picked up.
Real quick.
Never heard of a single guy there.
Earl, what's up?
Earl.
Hey, put that camera on me, Steve.
Ooh. Oh!
So me and Ant got a couple of demands.
Earl's got the shades.
We got a couple of demands. You want us to show up to work on time? I need a bigger desk, and my man needs to be mentioned in every social media post that we post from here on out.
Yeah, why does Anthony get left out of the social media post there?
Anthony was tagged. He was in there.
No, but wasn't there something where he wasn't tagged in that first tweet about your podcast yesterday?
Oh, yeah, there's some weird thing. Anthony, you can explain it.
Yeah, it doesn't let my account be tagged in pictures. I don't know why.
That's strange. So how late were Earl and Anthony to work today?
So we talked about it yesterday. After the show,
they
I was
both got
off.
Cocky, right?
After the show, I was off. They did a great job producing. I come back in the next day. Neither showed up till 8:30. Neither told me they were showing up late. They came in late. It's okay. Today's different. So today, we had a great show Monday.
Yeah.
Big numbers. Both were a few minutes late on Tuesday. No big deal. Another great show yesterday. Would have been our highest viewed show ever if Monday didn't exist.
Yeah.
Earl tells me last night. Earl has an excused lateness here. He goes, hey, I believe it was your daughter's first day of school.
Yes, my youngest daughter's first day.
And he wanted to take her. Excused absence.
Well, but you didn't say that in your video.
Well, I'll get to it. Hold on. Anthony texts me at like 7:50. He goes, yo, bro, my stomach feels like crap. I'm going to be late.
It's like 7:30.
You know what? Anthony maybe shouldn't have come to work because...
No, he brought cookies, so I'm glad he came.
We got some cookies?
Here's the thing, boy. Boy, here's the thing. I've been here a year, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that I moved in with my girlfriend, but all I got was a drawer. That's what I feel like. That all I got was a drawer. I just want a bigger desk, man. I can't even put my mouse and my computer on the desk at the same time. I got to pick which one. I'll be all on my leg
I'm with
using
Earl
my mouse. It's ridiculous.
I am with Earl. People did make a big thing about Earl. By the way, people tweeted at me like it's my fault Earl didn't get a good
By
desk.
the record, Anthony's desk is smaller than Earl's.
Yeah, I have the smallest desk in the office, by the way.
So they felt like by the fault.
Because Earl is man enough to argue with me, so I like argue. I love to argue, and Earl enjoys arguing too.
Clearly, you and Jay go at it all the time.
Yeah.
So clearly the desk was your fault.
Desk is somehow my fault.
Anthony has the smallest desk of all three of us.
So why did people think Earl's desk was smaller?
It must have been the angle. Earl has the bean-shaped desk. It's literally called a bean desk. Don't ask me why, but it's shaped like a black bean. Anthony's is smaller, but it's like
why you got to make
rectangle.
it racist, Mike?
And there's no lights back there.
It's a lima bean. Sorry, a kidney bean.
It's dark as hell back there too. It's like a cave, bro.
I want to know.
We do have real quick, Ty. We have a
cutting.
fake trade
Fake
from
trade.
a fan.
All right, we'll do the rest of them
We'll
tomorrow,
do the rest of them
maybe?
either tomorrow or Friday.
That's too bad that Tyvus won't
Fake
be
trade. I know, I wanted Tyvus here for
Can't
that,
we have
but-
Tyvus in on Friday? You
No, we
can't
don't
work
have Tyvus
Friday?
on Friday.
Tyvus got too many
Tyvus
jobs.
has to fly to West Lafayette on
Excuse
Friday.
me, fancy guy.
Big Ten Network debut.
is-
Tyvus will be
yeah,
Make
watching
sure
on
you
Saturday.
tune in 10
All
to
right,
12.
fake trade. This is from name unknown, but it was a super chat.
Okay.
There's no name on this. Nick Chubb for TJ Watt straight up.
I take it.
Well, no, duh, you would if you're the Browns.
As much as it pains me, I would have to do it.
That's crazy.
Take it.
That's crazy.
I would.
Obviously, that would
Miles
never happen.
and TJ.
But yes,
and they play different
If
songs.
I had to do it, as much. I'm sorry, Nick.
he gone.
You came up with like one of the few trades that I would have to insult my favorite Browns player of all time. Nick Chubb is my all-time favorite Browns player.
I didn't make it
You
up.
know
That was from unnamed super chat.
That's your favorite. You know
He's
who
my all-time favorite
You know who
Browns player.
mine is?
Who?
Denzel Ward. Go Bucks.
That's terrible.
Tyvus, what do you think about him playing in the last preseason game?
Loved it. He needed the reps.
Exactly.
Go Bucks.
He got a concussion.
Is he going to play week 1?
I hope so. If
Go Bucks.
if Denzel isn't playing,
We'll
it's
see
a
you
long
at
season.
overtime.
We're
Go
talking
Bucks.
Ronald Acuna and what should happen to fans in
No
overtime.
fan questions?
Shout out to Kurt Coleman.
Oh, it's Wednesday. That's right. We're going to do